Hello, what's up, everybody? How you doing? We're live. Yeah, I screwed up and did not schedule it before 5:30, so we didn't get the half-hour notification. Um, Whatever, my mistake. You can't go back in time. Busy day, so what are you going to do? Welcome to you that are here, and to those hopefully will show up. Whatever. What are you going to do? George and Storm, welcome, guys. Sorry, just sort of a busy day, and it slipped my mind, which I like to create it in the afternoon, the day of the show, because then on everyone's subscriber list, it's on the day that it will be premiering. So, yeah, it happens exactly, George. Try to do better, be better than that, but I won't beat myself up over it. So, whatever. Gay Bar by Electric Six. Yeah, I know that one. No, I don't. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. Sorry. But I do take requests, but I don't know Gay Bar. So I do apologize for that. Anyways, we picked up another viewer. I think I might have got a DM from somebody. No, I don't think so. Yeah, so welcome. The link is in the description. Interesting week in the news, as always, it seems these days. We've got... no, my man. No, not strictly gay bars. I don't think I've ever been to a gay bar. I've been to some pretty wild bars, but they weren't strictly gay bars. There was some gay people there, as well as some straight people. So that's how it happens when you go to a bar in San Francisco. You never know what you're going to run into. So, yeah, I've never really been to a strictly gay bar. Do they have lesbian bars? Is that a thing, or is that a gay bar? I guess gay bar, you tend to think of men, but of course there's going to be lesbians there. But there's no such thing as a straight bar. I guess that wouldn't be right. That's all right. He can bust my chops any day. Storm's cool. He's a wacky character, that Pitbull, him. I wonder if he has a pit bull named Storm. Do you? Oh, there's only like, hey, we got her up to 7. All right, we rolling, they hating. Now you catch me riding dirty. Watch those numbers climb, baby. Cribbage night, that's a good one. Yeah, bridge. Cribbage night. What's that show? Mahjong. Yeah, man. That's great. Although I do like a game of cribbage myself. I fancy myself a decent cribbage player. But cribbage is thanks. Cribbage is a game of counting. If you miscount, you're fucked. Hey, Biscuit, you there, bro? What up, homeboy? That's life, but not as we know it. Scotland, right on, dude. The lowlands of Scotland, right? So there's the highlands and the lowlands, I assume. You can explain it better than I can. That's life. But Tilbullnocky, as we call you, which rolls off the tongue. Plaid shirt, and only in the 90s, dude, when I was into Pearl Jam. One tied around the waist, one over the shoulders. It was plaid everything back then. Fucking ridiculous. Like an idiot walking around all plaided up. Oh, boy. Yeah, plaid shirt goes with cribbage, yeah. LL Bean shirt, tin coffee cup. Labrador Retriever by my side while I sit in front of the fire and plan my next day's cribbage strategy. That's weird wearing these when I'm not actually talking to anyone. There's no one to answer, so. Ron Roy. Get the hair right tonight. Not liking it. I'm losing it. Gonna be bald soon. Who cares? Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the... I'm going to just bring it up right out of the gate. The state of Texas. Passing some pretty unusual laws. Maybe we'll get into that tonight. Hey, funny, Brian Fury just said that as I was bringing up Texas. Pardon me for 1 second, if you would. I have to sneeze. Pardon me, sorry. Okay, I got you. That's life. Yeah, Texas. I don't know, man. It doesn't sound right to me. Although I wouldn't consider myself to be an advocate for or against abortion, I wouldn't really even fancy myself to give my opinion on that, I guess. But I do believe in general freedom for human beings, so I guess that you could devise that and take my opinion from that. But the thing in Texas is pretty unusual because of the fine print as to the stage that you cannot legally do it at anymore, and also the ability for anyone in the country to take litigation against anyone involved with the act. And it can be up to $10,000, I think. Hey, Last Dance, how are you, buddy? Hopefully you did your fun little Friday fun afternoon activity there, which you had talked about with me. Hope you had a good time. If not, you're here and you have a good time here anyway, so that's fine. Yeah. Anyways, back to Texas. So yeah, it does contain some unusual things that you could, like ratting out your neighbor sort of thing is how some people look at it. Um, and it seems like it didn't last that long. Cool. Right on, man. That's cool. Yeah, if you get a chance to come on. I think I put the link in the description for all you guys. You can also put it in the comments if anyone would like. Yeah, and if I'd like to know what the scene was like down there. There you go. There, Smokesteve wife. She's got no problem showing her opinion. It is ridiculous. It's a really bizarre law, the way that they made it. Where am I at? I'm in New England. There's Last Dance. I don't know if you're asking me, Piku, or somebody else, but we got some dudes from Florida in here. We got some dudes from Scotland. I think Northern Ireland, hiding behind a couch, possibly. Smoking a cigarette. Of course, it's all they smoke in England. Never any of this dirty marijuana. All right, let me get another hit in here, fellas, and I'll hit the button. Thirsty drunk, all right. Ohio, or as Governor Dean from Vermont said when he was running for president, Ohio! And then shortly thereafter, Gonzo, because he sounded like a maniac, screaming out all the state names. Howard Dean, of course. He was from Vermont. He's a decent governor, but I don't think he was cut out for president anyways. Had kind of a strange thing going on. Yeah, we're just talking about Texas with the recent laws, Piku. Yeah, exactly. I can't yell it like he yelled it. He was incensed. Arizona, Ohio! He was going crazy. A great little mix I heard. Somebody took the Steve Miller song, I've been from Phoenix, and then they played Dean screaming, Arizona! And that was kind of hilarious the way they did the mix. It might have even been on Howard Stern back in the day. It was a good one. Yeah, I don't know. You have to explain that in person or elaborate a little further, McGrandy, on that particular comment. Yeah, that wouldn't be a smart move by Texas, in my opinion, blind fury. And you got to remember, there's a lot of Democrats, or there's a lot of poor people in Texas who don't vote, like a ton. I'm talking multi-millions of people. And if somebody would just rally these people to use their strength together, if they all wanted to vote one particular way, that state would be quite a Democratic powerhouse, I think. But that's just how it is, because a lot of people don't vote down there, man. Maybe they think it won't affect anything, or but it sucks. All right, let me get the dudes on here. Last Dance, Cypher this.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Good evening. Good evening, Steve. Good evening, Cypher. Good to see you guys.
Hey,
Good
man.
evening.
Likewise.
You guys have any here we go with Last Dance famous feedback.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay, dude. Don't mean to bust your chops.
Well, you should.
There's a good story about the Texas informant system, where they're going to start trying to turn in neighbors and such. Apparently the TikTok crowd, engineered a spamming of the hot tip, the tip line, so that, false tips are being, generated, hand over fist in order to interfere with that process. Yeah. That'll probably be
one way or another, that law is gonna come off the books.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, totally.
The old informant system. That's back to totalitarian stuff.
Exactly.
I was reading some more right-wing lawyers talking about this as a law, and they pointed out that, hey, this can go both ways if you're a conservative. Liberal states can set it up so that people can sue gun owners, privately for, it's not, they don't pass a law that says you can't own a gun.
No,
They
not
pass
gun
a law-
owners, gun manufacturers.
Well, so you could sue gun owners. Say you sue someone has a gun, you could sue them for $10,000, and
Oh, you mean just for the act of possessing it?
just for the act of possessing it.
Okay.
Oh
And,
no.
And there's other things as well. It's just a bad legal precedent in the first place.
Yeah, is possessing the gun really the same as going through the act of getting what we're talking about? I don't know.
Where'd you hear that last dance? Because I hadn't heard that particular tactic.
Well, I read a legal blog called the Volokh Conspiracy.
Yeah.
And
Haven't
one
heard
of
of it.
one of the lawyers, suggested that the way this can cut both ways. If you think this is a good law,
Oh wow.
in Texas, things might not.
So
You might not like what they do in California.
So it's one of those highfalutin ass hattery websites.
I don't know what you mean by that.
We joked about when I said medium.com was, highbrow bullshit, that kind of stuff.
Well, it's actually lawyers, so I have a hard time understanding much of it.
Yeah.
Especially when they get about technical things. But there's a lot of discussion of legal concepts, and I like the way, especially civil liberties issues that are, not so much, the details of suing somebody, but First Amendment stuff.
It's a hotbed of political activity going on now that wasn't going on, 10 years ago. That's for sure.
Got that right.
Yeah. Once we hit the community organizer phase of presidential activities, we began to get into something different, in the United States. And it's not necessarily all bad by any means. I mean, after what happened in 2008, you start going back, and that altered my viewpoint quite a bit. I mean, I did have the Trump support going on. He was just so refreshing and different from the standard politician that, despite some of his picadillos, he was still pretty good.
You said 2008. Did you mean 2016?
Oh no! I'm going back
to Obama.
I'm mixing up. No, I'm going back to the collapse of the world economy. Due to the subprime mortgage crisis that occurred. And when that occurred, and not a single financial services industry professional got jail time or I think a criminal conviction.
Right.
That was absurd because they did some stuff with that. What do they call them? Credit default swaps or default, whatever it was. They were selling and selling and selling financial services products to the public. And all the time they were hedging and actually formulating financial policy that sank those products that they were selling, and they knew exactly what they were doing. It was fraud to the max. It was bad.
Do you think with the inflation and the extremely ballooning house market right now for the sellers, the costs are extraordinary for new homes? Do you think we're setting up for this again in a way?
Well,
the value of a house, if it's far higher than the intrinsic actual value, not just the market value, that can be the problem. And
there's definitely inflation, like you said, but I think that the mortgage lenders, across the board, I believe are vetting, differently than they did in the lead up to the subprime mortgage crisis. They're not lending money quite as freely and without determining whether a risk is appropriate in order to lend that money.
Yeah. They still have now. They still do have the 3% first time home buyer, 3% down, which is
Right.
Nothing on a $400,000 house, obviously,
Right. And I mean, with the mortgage rate is just wonderfully low.
Right.
Excuse me. That's pretty cool. That part of it's cool as hell,
But the problem is, if someone buys a $550,000 home and then in 8 or 9 years, that home is valued at $375,000, where it was 5 years ago,
they'll be underwater. Yeah, they'll be underwater. What's called financially underwater. Yeah, that was a term that was used all the time, after 2008 into all the way up until 2015, 2016.
Right.
People were just divesting themselves and bankrupting. They were walking away from the mortgages. Mm-hmm. They knew what had happened. They could see it. That was thousands and thousands of people did that. Tens of thousands of people walked away from their mortgages.
I think, Cypher's right. Things aren't done exactly the same reckless way that they were done before. But I still think that, as you pointed out, there's a lot of vulnerabilities that could, upend things in such a way that you might think, oh, that can't possibly happen again. I think it could happen again.
I'm tempted to sell my, this thing that I live in. I could probably make big bank on it.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Wait 5 years and buy it back for half price.
yeah. Go live in a tiny home.
A tiny home, or maybe
tiny home for a while.
Go live in a tent for a few
years. Hell, I could see a double wide in a park. Not out in the boonies. I don't want to friggin' my luck. I'd get snake bit or something. Who knows? Home invaded out there in the sticks.
Some of those double wide communities are not bad. My dad lives in one. He loves it.
Yeah, I mean, I could, I'd be. Yeah, I mean, the thought is there, and actually, there was a brief period where I worked with a realtor, and we actually did the inside photography of this place, and set the price, and I signed documentation. And then, I just realized, because of certain dynamics, both in my personal life and the physical, maladies that I suffer from, I couldn't move myself. There would be no way for me to move all of the shit that I would have to move. So the guy the real estate agent that I worked with, was a friend. And I just basically, there's a grace period where you're allowed to get out of a contract. It's sort of like when you buy an automobile, you got like 3 days to cancel the contract. I don't know if it's that way in Massachusetts or your state, Last Dance.
Yeah, I think it is in my state. There's a grace period where you can cancel.
You got a 3-day cancellation. Yep. What do they call it? A free look period. Yeah. And I had basically a free look period at the contracts. And the guy, even though he's my buddy, he's really a buddy. I was in a leads group, Chamber of Commerce leads group with the guy for about 9 years. And we did deals. He referred a lot of insurance clients to me, and I referred people. We had referral power for each other. And so anyway, he's a good guy, and he let me, ditch the contract. And, but anyway, I could sell the place for a heck of a lot more than I bought it with the inflationary, pricing of housing right now. You got all these Northerners wanting to get the fuck out of New York, get out of New Jersey, get out of New York. We take our multi-million-dollar fortunes and go, live with the Floridians.
Yeah, my dad says, like, when the 70-somethings come into his park, they're all like, well, here come the young whippersnappers. All the 80-plus-year-olds are like, the younger crowd's over drinking margaritas, and like the old guys are kind of like, they're all walking like 9 miles a day around the whole complex. It's so funny, man. It's definitely, there's a Seinfeld episode about it. Del Boca Vista, it's a classic.
Del Boca Vista.
Let me add our own Del Boca Vista, Mr. Biscuit Vapes. What's up, dude?
Boca Vista Vapes.
Oh, good, guys. How are you?
Hey, it's good.
It's good. Biscuit.
Did you just wake up? Just kidding.
You got morning hair there, Biscuit Vapes.
It's not morning hair. This took a lot of time to shape and.
It's styled. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good look, sir. It's a good look.
Yeah. Just getting it evenly poofed up and
It's a good quaff you have
Yeah,
there.
That is.
You're rocking a little bit of a Bigfoot
Look
look
at that.
there.
Grows like a gorilla hair, man. You just. I remember you shaved, everything, and it's like
My mum
one week and it
keeps
was all back.
commenting saying that I'm starting to look like a fat Jesus.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's someone trying to come in here. I don't know exactly who it is. I can't remember.
Kimberly Vegas.
Yes.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
Okay,
No.
private chat stuff.
Kim. Do we know a Kim?
Nope.
Well, toss your camera on, Kim, and wave to me, and then you can shut it off, and I'll let you on. And don't find a video of somebody waving at the camera and try and fucking fool me. Let's just show yourself. You can come on. I won't show you. I won't put your live camera on. I'll keep you on the side here. So you're off of YouTube. You just got to show me like that you're a human being.
Really? No, that doesn't ring any bells at all.
I'm guessing that
No, Gonzo.
the Threth Eherberg is also known as Kim.
Yeah, but he says except Tina, and then he says except Kim. He doesn't even know the name.
Well, maybe Tina is like the real name of the person. And
Oh, wow. We got some whack jobs over here. We got
oh,
Jaquandra. Oh, that's all right. Welcome. Hello.
Yeah, this looks familiar. I think this is a rerun from previous disasters. I'm always skeptical, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how I am.
And I got to remember, Happy Dog was on last week, and he had a bizarre name. So I always,
yeah.
So much to a midget phone.
People that are bored just got to find somebody to troll. That's what it is.
No, yeah, exactly. I got to keep up on this. Hold on. All right, she's getting it together. All right, let's go ahead and see what if our Welshman has a decent internet signal. How you doing, Welshie?
Hey, Based Welshman.
Evening all.
There you go.
How you doing, Based? Good to see you.
Sounds good. He's got to come to. Okay,
where's Doggo Based? Where's your doggo?
He's down by my feet. He is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just fed my cat, so they probably won't make a showing unless it's way back there in the couch area. The big boy won't be jumping up on the back of my chair, I don't think.
Yeah, Happy was on McGrandy. He was good last week.
Talking about dogs, how did anyone see the photos with the military dogs abandoned in Afghanistan?
Oh no, they did it again.
Never did.
No, that was a fake photo.
Oh,
well, I could see the Alsatians close up in there, and the helicopters behind, and all the windows smashed. I wouldn't have thought the Americans would smash their own windows to helicopters and put Alsatians in cages like that.
The photo. You're going.
I was going to say, I thought predominantly they had German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois.
That's what I could see. I can get the photo up. It's there.
Yeah, the photo, it turns out, was from a rescue organization for dogs, and they're rescuing.
Is that the one from Britain?
I don't know what it might be. I don't know what it was, but they're there to
he chartered his own plane, didn't he?
Well, whatever it is, they're rescuing dogs in Afghanistan, but they weren't U.S. All the U.S. military dogs, according to the U.S. military, were removed, and those were other dogs.
There was a big airlift of canines that was done, and Ricky Gervais was, he's always into the activist stuff for animal. It's not so much animal rights activism as it is just treating animals well, and there was some big lift where a bunch of animals got out.
Yeah, that's the one I'm on about. He had an animal shelter, but the Taliban obviously don't like dogs. So.
But how can an animal shelter have a usage of a helicopter behind? That's what I'm confused about.
He got quite a bit of money behind him apparently, and he
smashed the windows. He smashed the windows to the American helicopter, though.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
They could they not just be on the airport that the airplane was on?
a legitimate set of facts there. I don't know.
Right. I don't know either.
Well, they've traced the origins of the photo, and it was from this dog rescue website, and then someone recaptioned it to say, to say that these were U.S. military dogs left behind, and
Yeah.
that's not what the original caption or photograph said, and the U.S. military says they did not leave any dogs behind.
I don't think they would, because the handlers and the dogs travel together.
Yeah.
Okay.
You tell a Marine with his dog that he can't bring his dog back.
That's not the case, because I've seen Marines that have to wait like 3-4 months to get their dogs back.
Interesting.
And then at the airport in a very emotional
Yeah.
state. I've seen so many
It's an
times.
issue.
They're
I mean,
separate.
it's a side issue, but it's a legitimate issue. It's
Yeah.
you don't want to see
I'll put the
animals
tweet in the
abandoned.
side chat if you want to see it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can
What
zoom
I
in.
want
And
to
It's
know
another-
is how much
if you zoom in, you can see their German
how much
shepherds.
aircraft do they have that's working?
If I click on that, the whole show could end. I don't know.
Hopefully not the whole world.
No, but I don't exactly. I get, because you can't restart a broadcast. I'm just itchy about clicking on things, But if someone else wants to and describe it,
I'll
that'd be
copy
fine.
it and paste it on another browser and look at it.
There you
I'll
go.
do it that way. Yeah, I'll do it that way.
It's
That
my
way.
tweet. It's not spam on. I think it's from my page.
No, it's just the fact that I don't know if it'll open up a new tab and keep this going or override the current tab.
Steve, you're just like me, mate. You're a super boomer sometimes. Honestly,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying though, because everything can fall down around you, can you? Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I do not think that is a Black Hawk helicopter. I think that is an old Russian
I
helicopter.
I didn't say it was a Black Hawk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's James Woods back on. He was in Twitter jail for a long time.
He's over the target then. If he was in jail, he's over the target.
I don't mean legitimate. I'm saying Twitter jail. I'm saying
Yeah.
kicked
Yeah.
off Twitter for a long time.
Steve, you know helicopters. Doesn't it look
You
like
get
a
black
Hind,
wheels beside
an
it.
Mi-8?
I didn't open it, like I said.
Yeah, it's just a Twitter, based Welshman's Twitter page actually.
Yep.
His tweet. Yeah.
It disgusts me if any of that is true. I mean, I can see little bits of food on the bottom, where it looks like they've been chucking food in through the nets of the
Guys,
cages.
if you pull my feed up, the page is there.
Yeah, we see it. There
All right,
it
that's
is.
an idea.
Good job, Biscuit.
I mean, they left £80 billion worth of kit. So if they've left 50 dogs, it's either here or there, isn't it? For them.
I'm not being funny though, Base Welshman. They don't look very military grade dog cages to me, do they? You?
Mostly, that's all I know. There's a smashed helicopter behind. Looks quite aged, like you said. And I'm just going on what the tweet.
Yeah.
on
Well,
the tweet says. If you look at it as face value, I can see food down by the cages, bits of dry food.
with the human tragedies that are happening, I just can't get outrage about that. I'm sorry.
I think.
Well, I can because they
Okay,
mostly
I see that.
they're mostly the reason why dozens and dozens of US and British personnel are still walking today.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
on.
you don't want to abandon, our service animals, military service animals. I agree, but I'm not outraged.
Well, speaking of helicopters, they clearly can fly them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there any? Are we going to argue
muted,
about
Last
that?
Dance.
I mean, they're probably pilots we trained in the Afghan National Army that
They
just
just
switched uniforms on, when it was over. So
How many times do they switch uniforms? I bet they switch uniforms every fucking 10 years, 5 years.
whenever they want to, they switch uniforms.
I mean, suits.
I don't know if you can see, but that's what the US military house the dogs in when they're putting them on flight. So they are not military dogs.
Well, how can you say they're not military dogs? I mean, you can say there's questions, but you can't say, "Oh, that's what they travel in." So, we're not on about official travel. We're on about abandoned military service dogs. Big difference.
Well,
If in fact that's what they are.
But what I'm trying to get out is if they're in those particular cages and a civilian keeps them in like dog carriers and cat carriers, then it's unlikely that they are service dogs.
Well, I've seen footage of Taliban with what looks like American military service dog torturing prisoners already in the last week.
They find dogs unclean, so I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, in other wars, that's been a problem with leaving, canines behind. It's a problem,
It's in general, it's hard to, I believe that Base Welshman saw something. It's very hard to distinguish these days, what fact and what's distorted. It's hard to get ground truth. Let me just say one thing. We saw a video of a helicopter dangling somebody from the helicopter flying around, and lots of people captioned it that this was the Taliban executing somebody by and then by hanging, and politicians started retweeting it, saying how horrible Biden is. Well, horrible Biden might be horrible, but that was not what that photo was showing. That person was alive the whole time.
Well, they cleared it up. They were in the middle of a sea rescue in the middle of a landlocked country.
Right. Water rescue.
What's the stuff?
From a dry lake bed.
6 months, the stuff will fail. What does that mean?
All right, here we go. After some careful research here, claim U.S. abandoned dozens of military dogs in Kabul when U.S. troops withdrew.
Mm-hmm.
And it says rating is false. The U.S. military did not leave dozens of military working dogs as it withdrew troops from Afghanistan. The viral pictures show rescue dogs under the care of the Kabul Small Animal Rescue. These dogs largely belong to Afghans, embassy employees, and independent defense contractors who were unable to bring animals with them. So that's what Snopes says. So
Snopes, okay. Does it say Bill Gates ever went on Epstein's Island?
It does. He was there 14 times. No, I don't know.
That could be well true. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but you got to be really careful with these fact checkers because they don't. It's all politicized. They're all owned by the big Rockefellers, and
I have a decent story about where I scuffled around with Snopes. I also did, I did a little bit of editing on Wikipedia where I found a false quote attributed to Lyndon Baines Johnson, and it was used as a terrifically nasty piece of propaganda.
I've seen some false stuff reported as fact on Snopes too, so I'm with you there. You can't trust anybody completely.
Yeah, like you said a minute ago, you can't really trust. There's so much propaganda out there. You've got to question everything. Every information you get, you've got to question it, really.
Well, yeah.
From Snoops, you can't rely on it. I mean, it doesn't do exactly what it says on the tin, does it? It doesn't.
Well, I mean, I think in this case, it probably was a fairly easy cross-check as to like that Kabul Small Animal Shelter or whatever. Like, and it's such a recent thing. There's got to be some easy shit to come by. Yeah. Whereas, with quotes attributed to historical figures, maybe they're not the place to go to. But with stuff like this, which seems questionable, it's, I think, a solid start.
That site's also known as the Snoop Dogg site. Snoop Dogg. That's right. What are they smoking over there? Man, they don't know shit.
I wonder if it's like the old days. I actually used to call like the Boston Public Library when I was a kid to get answers of bizarre questions. Like, are there people at Snopes that sit there and have to like research this shit to come up with false, true?
Yeah.
Or are they just using algorithms and like automatic searches,
The fucking algorithms, I tell you, those algorithms.
I like it when, like, if you make a statement and they'll say, no, that this person didn't say that, they said this, and it's like one word difference.
Right.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Misreported or like not trustworthy. You're like, what are you on about? It's the same fucking answer.
Speaking
Just
of
like
Boston, Steve, how'd the flooding go? You spared from the flooding that went on up there in Jersey
Yeah,
and New York and
yeah, for the
parts of
most part.
Oh, good. I
We
was
had
thinking about you all week, when I
it
saw that
was.
headed up to you.
I mean, my wheelbarrow had a foot of water in it, just sitting there. We had a plastic rectangular crate, which is about the size that you're supposed to have for rain collection, and it had at least 6 inches in it. And it wasn't near any runoff areas like roofs or anything. So,
Sort of a nice rain without thunder and lightning, or was it?
yeah, but it was
storms?
like from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and it was like fucking
Like,
a drum roll on the on the roof the whole time. It was
Oh,
crazy.
I can see it on the radar, man. It's
Yeah.
like, God damn, it's right over you
It
guys.
was
We had
hammering us.
tornadoes in my area.
Oh,
Yeah.
wild. Anything significant, or just what do they call them? Like class zeros and class ones? Like
There was one EF0 and one EF2.
two's getting up there.
Yeah, it's interesting. The alert came out, and I don't know if you have a cell phone, but it
Mine came in at like 1 a.m. that night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my first thought was, I'm going to see if I can get ahead of this and go watch it. So I looked at the track of the storm and said, I need to get. If I get to the 450 bridge over the Severn River, I can see it. But then I thought, what am I doing? I'm just going to get hurt. So I went home, and yesterday I read about some tornado spotter who was standing on the Route 450 bridge when he got his video. And I was like, that could have been me.
I know, but what if you're like, and here it comes right down the river at me?
That's what would have happened.
Yeah, go for your
Foolish
gut,
old man is tossed into the river.
Yeah, but I know, but sometimes, as it turns out, you could have mugshot, but you had the good shot, the real good shot.
Yeah.
You got to go for it sometimes.
I've always wanted to see a tornado, in person.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, man. I'd be sucked
Yeah,
into
McGran,
it.
we did get away from another hurricane.
Yeah.
Lucky, man.
If I was to see a tornado, I'd want to be in one of those trucks that put like anchors down, like the drilling to ground and hold themselves on.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, every couple of months up here in the Northeast, we have some jackass who wants to get a picture near the rocks or near the seawall when there's a fucking flood, what we call a flood tide combined with an onshore wind. And people are constantly getting pulled out into the ocean and getting bashed against the rocks. And that's just to get a picture with a wave. Now, you don't want to do that with a fucking tornado, trust me. Because the same thing happens. People do,
I seen this footage of an old age pensioner couple in Devon, and the wave came in and took the husband away. He went on his back and he sort of fell, and then the wife went in to try and get the husband, and they both went out.
Yeah.
They amazingly survived.
Oh, well, that's good.
But the crazy thing about it, I try and put myself in that scenario. I am petrified of water like that.
Right.
I'm very, very shit at swimming. I would have literally said, I can't go into that. I'd like to think I'd go into most crazy things, but there was no way I would have ever touched that, because the waves and the power was just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of water, but if there's a debris in the water, then I'm afraid of it.
Yeah.
No, I want the debris to float on it, hopefully, because I ain't gonna swim.
No, the debris is worse than, because it can have nails and sharp bits and just cuts you up and.
Right.
Yeah. What Walshy's talking about is what surfers call like 5 or 10 feet overhead. When you're like the waves are. And you're on a surfboard and they're that high above your body. When you're in like that kind of water, like near the rocks, right up against the coast, you've just no chance, man.
Right.
It's
if that was me, I'd dive into the wave and try and swim through it.
No,
I mean, you might have a chance. You might destroy the
away
wave.
from the rocks. Got to get away from the rocks. But that's certain. When the tide's strong and the waves are strong, and if the shoreline is a rocky shoreline, you ain't gonna get away from it.
Yeah, it's
It's-
definitely
I
a
know,
timing
but
thing.
would you rather take your chances just holding your ground, or would you rather try to
stay
go?
out of the water.
I would
On
stay
a rough
Obviously,
day.
but I'm on about you stood there between the rock and the wave. Which one do you go for?
It's a rock in a hard place. Here you are, and there you are.
Right.
I used to be supremely confident, being a old varsity swimmer, but anymore, I mean, I'm just almost. I mean, I'm not feeble, but in rough conditions like what you're talking about, I would be terrified.
But at least you have technique where I've got very little technique in the water. I freely admit it.
Yeah, fat floats, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've always been a good swimmer.
Yeah, me too.
So, lads, what do you think about Project Veritas and their expose of the communist Antifa teacher?
I love what they do, and that teacher was
Brilliant, isn't it?
a piece of shit.
That's the best ever.
Yeah, I'll indoctrinate those kids. By God,
I got
I
18
found it-
Why is that teacher
days.
not being taken out of the situation?
God,
Because it's supported throughout the schools. So Project Veritas is this is their best ever expose because it's really attached to the parents. The parents are on it, man,
right.
and I think this is going to sweep the country now.
Yeah,
And
I found
think
it very
Project Veritas-
disturbing.
It's been building up.
And that's for the reason that Based is getting at is that this is not unique to that one guy. This is all over the fucking place.
This is in Britain. Yeah. This is all over Britain. It's not even what Project Veritas has just done. It's not mentioned in British media at all. Not been mentioned.
I haven't even really heard much about this, so I'm going to plead ignorance on this one. But
I watched a news report about it on YouTube today.
Oh,
I can't remember what it was on. I think it was GB News.
It's basically a teacher, an Antifa teacher, some commie, who's giving like extra credit to his students to go to violent Antifa rallies.
And,
he's got Chairman Mao flag in the background, an Antifa flag in the background, all the other multicolored South African flags, if you know what I mean.
Basically, he's bragging about how he uses his position of influence to indoctrinate these kids into this violent cult.
His exact words were, he scares the shit out of them to get them.
Yeah, he's got 180 days. I've got 180 days to turn these kids into revolutionaries.
Yeah,
some of that might just be him bragging to somebody he thinks is a fellow leftist, but the facts are disturbing enough without anything he says at all.
Every complaint, he's had multiple complaints by students and ex-students, and every time they just ignored it. And in fact, he went back in the classroom and said, "I heard about a complaint about my Antifa flag in the background, and if you've got a problem with that in the background, maybe that's a problem with you." He didn't know the pupil, but he told the whole class.
So nobody found it suspicious that he had the bust, I assume, of Chairman Mao.
They're with it. The schools love it. This is all down their street.
That's what's disturbing about it. He really
giving them autonomy.
He didn't do it in secret. He did it right out in the open. That's what's most disturbing.
He didn't have an American flag there. He had no American flag on the wall.
Right.
What part of the country was it? Sorry, I'm not too sure what part of the country.
It's got to be Portland, right? I mean, am I guessing? Or
it sounds like it has to be.
Probably.
Or California. I think it was California, actually.
Let me go try to look him out. Yeah, California would be a good guess, too.
Previously thought that we should help Afghanis and help with women's rights, but fuck's sake, I think we've got more problems at home, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still reeling from all those American service members, man. That just was a terrible thing. Yeah. Regardless of anybody else in the whole fucking world, I care more about those guys. And that was a tough thing for me to swallow. And I'm not going to lie to you. I do put some blame at the administration for some of the planning that might have led to bad logistics for this whole thing.
Well, who else you blaming, Steve? Sorry, mate. Who else you blaming apart from the administration?
Yeah, I mean, they're the ultimate plan starters, and then after that, there's the plan executioners. But if the starting plan is flawed, then will the execution ever be truly flawless and successful? No, of course not.
Biden gave a speech, and I tweeted about why I found it to be a strange speech. At the start of the speech, he kind of said, he basically said, Trump started this, and I had no choice at this point. It was either the Taliban were now expecting us to leave, and either I had to put more troops in to defend us, or I had to pull the troops out like Trump wanted. So it sounds like he's saying, I didn't want to do this. It was Trump's made me do it. But later on in the speech, he basically says things like, "We can't have a war that goes on forever. It was our mission was done a long time ago. It's about time we come out." So basically, he's trying to have it both ways in the same speech.
Right.
It's Trump's fault.
He's also admitted that he 10 or 11 years ago, whatever, when he was VP, he was adamantly against the troop surge. So he wanted it to end long ago. So just take the credit for it and admit that the fucking thing was flawed, and that's it.
Exactly. But
it's planned. It's planned. How can you get it so wrong? How can you pull the troops out and leave the civilians there? I mean, it's not. This is all planned, lads.
Yeah.
You're right. It does seem stupid to take troops out, only then to bring way more back in to just to help finish the thing.
Joe Obama way.
I mean, this is what they say.
The way I saw it was that he pulled the troops out thinking that the Afghanis would hold their own.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
However,
you would never do that tactically. Any military guy would say, no, we hold our 3,000, our 6,000 troops in Kabul. We keep all that strong. We get all the personnel out. We get all the secrets out, like all the ice scanners. Those ice scanners.
It seems obvious, doesn't it? It seems
obvious. It does now, but
such a weapon. Those ice scanners are such a weapon. They can now pull up any Afghani that's worked for any of the allies, and they can then rape and pillage and murder and chop.
Gave the list to them. That's crazy.
If the Afghan government had some spine and held their own against the Taliban,
but everyone knows
the people who wanted to stay there would have been allowed to stay there because the Taliban would have been kept at bay. But the Afghan government didn't have a spine and they couldn't look after their own army. They all folded because the Afghan government fucked off.
They flip
the Prime
sides
Minister
all
fucked
the
off with all
time.
the money.
But we knew that they flip sides every 5 years.
Well, very, very quickly, fellas, let me just bring in a good friend here, Mr. Obama Lip. Hey, Fit Lip.
Hey, Fit Lip. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Want some candy, little boy?
Thanks for being here, man.
Remember to listen for the dogs barking when a kid gets caught in the web.
They're all three right here with me right now.
Ready to retrieve the captures.
Well, regarding that Veritas, exposed teacher, looks like he was terminated, and it was a California superintendent of that school system that teacher was in is apologetic, apparently. I mean, I think he was at the far end of that radical spectrum.
No.
But you are right. You are right that Base Westman that there's a leftist. It's basically teachers' unions are by their nature very left leaning. What are you showing us there?
You see that little dot there?
Oh yeah.
That's where I come on the political spectrum, and it says that I'm extremely left libertarian.
So you're like the red dot that the cats chase.
So the blue square is like white. The blue dot is like right authoritarian.
So
I'm on the other side I'm on the right, libertarian right.
Yes,
I think I'm almost right in the middle of everything, if I remember, just to the slightly to the liberal and almost in the middle.
I've taken that.
I'm number 7 on the dartboard. I'm Miss 25.
That's a UK site, by the way, that does that.
Yeah.
Because they have their own definition of libertarian left that I don't necessarily agree with.
Now the funny thing is that, say, Hampshire College, Smith College, Amherst College, and a lot of other ultra-liberal colleges, I'm sure the professors all have all of the shit that guy had up in their classroom, and then a lot more. You're talking Ho Chi Minh, Che Guevara, anybody you can
That's
come
college,
up
and
They're
those are
all a
adults.
bunch of cock blockers.
Right.
Bastards.
This was like high school.
I know, but Last Dance adults. I mean, come on, bro. They're so
Okay.
fucked. They're so fucked.
I remember at that age. I was not easy to lead around at that age.
I
Listen to
mean, if
those
somebody
cicadas
gets up
back there,
there and
man.
somebody's up there passionate about something, they're gonna get some quote unquote adults to latch right onto that shit. You know who?
I saw it happen when I was in college. There was I had a class on Latin American history, and that the professor was basically a communist, and one of those students was like eating up everything he said with no ability to be skeptical and check
Yeah,
on these things.
they're authority the professors are authority figures, and they take it and run with it.
All of a sudden, he's got a subscription to the Daily Worker.
I was in another class on the politics of poverty, and the professor took a poll, halfway through the class, and who they were going to vote for president, and I think it was Reagan won the poll, and he was absolutely beside himself. He said, "You can't be in this class if you would vote for Reagan." he was like stunned and enraged.
So was that when you were in school?
Yes.
I see. I didn't think it'd be that obvious back then. I can see it being that obvious now. But no teacher, no valid teacher should ever show their political leanings. They should just let the discussion run.
As a young college student myself, I'm finding that of all my professors, only one had any kind of remote political. Being a business sequence, people are not so overtly political. It's not like I'm in social sciences or ethnic studies.
Those are good. Those are good ethics to have, based, but it seems like that's rarer and rarer to find these days in school.
If you're in a practical, sequence collegiately, you're not going to get too much politics. It's when you get into the, into the pseudosciences, and that you start getting weird stuff. The cultural, artistic, and what I call the pseudosciences, like social science. You get the political, hardcore, ideologist.
But it's been pretty obvious, really, because when you get right-wing commentators or even sort of centrist commentators speaking at universities, they were either banned outright or it all kicked off. And basically the staff would just been,
Old Smoky. We're looking at Old Smoky there, based off minutes. Oh yeah.
Harry Moonshine.
Old Smoky. Go ahead, based off.
Well, yeah, I just think I think it's been quite obvious for a long time what it's been like. I mean, you only have to look at Berkeley a couple of years ago, where they started trying to firebomb it from the outside, and they were just smashing up people that had different political views, and they knocked one guy up on the floor, etc.
Those cicadas were going haywire over in Aphid's Lips yard.
Aphid's going to tell him to shut up so he can get back.
Yeah, he'll get enough. He's probably getting himself those good headphones. Go ahead, Bishop. Once again.
It's a fine background, mind you. He's got a fine background.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. He's got a good noise muffling set of
headphones.
A head of phones, yes. He'll get his earphone out, and then he'll use the head of phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, when I worked at a computer shop right at the turn of the century, I just casually for some reason called a cell phone an earphone, and I didn't hear the end of that for about a week from one of the little snarky guys.
Piper?
What?
You mean the turn of the millennium?
The turn of the millennium, correct.
Wow.
Y2K, yes sir. The world was going to fall apart. Y2K, it was terrible.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure I said this before. I lived in a house in Vermont with a bunch of snowboard instructors. We were all It was crazy. So like one of them, the dumbest one, goes to the circuit breaker box, and right at midnight he shut the house down, and it was literally the dumbest kid in the house, and he got all of us. We were all like, I knew it! It's fucking happening, dude! It's over! And then he turned it on, and he was like, you fucking pussies, I got you. And we were like,
A friend of mine had an idea, which he never, went with, but he said he had an idea where he would pay some people to fly on an airplane over midnight of Y2K, and he would sell like insurance, like flight, insurance shares. So if everyone believed that the planes would all crash on Y2K. So if they did, if that came true, then they would get the payoff from the life insurance.
The plane fell out of the sky.
And of course, he didn't think they would crash, so he figured he would make a lot of money off it.
Well, some of y'all will be real happy to know that in a couple of weeks around my birthday, one of my friendly acquaintances is going to, slide some medicinal marijuana to me, and I'll have to smoke my medicine.
Good man, George.
We'll look in the news for some guy your age going psychotic.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, don't
Paranoid delusional college student, throws himself off the 7th floor balcony.
Don't go that psychotic. That wouldn't be funny.
You could go two routes. You could get yourself a little glass pipe, pack a little bit at a time, and use a lighter. Or you could go with the direction of like getting what they call a vaporizer, where you put the bud inside the vape.
Oh yeah.
You turn it on. You have to learn the settings and shit, but you're pretty good with that type of stuff.
You wouldn't recommend edible bakery?
Knowing me, I'll get some buglers and go for
more
it.
of a waste, I'd suggest that biscuit. But if I was you, I'd much suggest the vape being much be the cleanest way. You go through it quicker.
At the very least, a water pipe. At the very
least, that's a good method. Yeah,
just to keep the harshness of it away from
you. Yeah, that's right. If you also use a water pipe, that's good enough for you. You'll be fuck the spliff.
It won't be a whole lot. I'm not gonna pay for it.
Yeah, you won't.
I've just decided. I mean, I get those neurological drugs I get for everything I get. All the things that manage everything that's wrong with me cost about $20 a month. And medical marijuana. You can give me a rough idea, Smokesteve, of what I'd be paying monthly for medical marijuana. It's probably about between $200 and $300 at least.
Well, I don't know what you would be consuming, but if you were doing like 1/8 of an ounce a week, which would be occasional hits during the day, you're not smoking joints or big bongs.
Right.
You'd be looking at like $100 to $200 a month.
That's all.
Yeah, if you're a 1 or 2 hit guy who's just a puff here, a puff there sort of thing.
When I was drinking heavily, I was probably right at $200 a month.
Yeah,
a little under $200 a month.
Steve, why don't you push some cannabis oil in his direction?
Yeah, I just for
shrink
most
wrap
people,
it and send it to me. I'll pay you for it.
For medical reasons, you want Rick Simpson oil or strong.
There's
strong cannabis oil.
The thing with that stuff is, I think sort of like the JV or even sophomore way to enter is just a little smoke or a little vaping.
Yeah.
You can kind of just get the feeling. Once you take the edibles or the oil, you can't turn back. Like that's got to go through a slow digestion process. The smoking, you're pretty much a little baked right away, and it's not going to change.
But I would have thought he doesn't want to get high, and that with the oil, he's not going to get high. He's more going to get the benefits of the medical.
Oh, that's not true. If you make oil, trust me, I know how to make some oil, guy. You get high.
I think Welshman's on about CBD, not THC.
Yeah, he's. Yeah.
I'm on about THC, mate.
Oh man, THC oil gets you blazed, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who have taken cannabis oil quite regular now, and they're just taking like a long grain rice under the tongue twice a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
I personally am very good at making it. You use what's called MCT oil, medium chain triglyceride oil.
Yeah.
And that bonds almost 100% with the THC. It's a very simple process. It just takes a little time, and you get almost 100% transfer of weight from THC from the weed to THC in the oil, and it gets you stoned, man.
But isn't it too concentrated by that process?
No, because you can control that by using more oil, so it's slightly diluted. If you use more herb and less oil, and you get this darker green, I mean, it's like eating a bud. Then you're going to be falling down from a 1 ml dropper. But if you make it more of a mild mixture, 1 ml, it's just a little background stone that you have for 4 or 5 hours. But I don't want to get into the minutiae of that because, trust me, I can go on, and I will. I'm hoping my old college buddy, comes over tomorrow night. That's why I'm doing this tonight. Him and I will just go on for hours about cannabis and different aspects of it. So.
Cannabis professors talking about their specialty.
It's how you pass the time.
Exactly.
You should be proud.
Back to that Project Veritas, I think it's amazing. Honestly, I really do. I know I said it once, but I think a lot of Americans going to get, a lot of the normies are going to get woken right up by that.
Yep, they are. There have been, every now and then you get these abrupt stories that come out, and sometimes, like you said, it's Veritas. There are a couple of other activist organizations that will bring out, some of the more nasty, problems that occur.
Hey, Aphid, have you heard about this? What they're talking about with this commie teacher?
With what?
The opposite of the January 6 people. There's a teacher out there in California who's, is trying to indoctrinate students in radical left-wing stuff.
Like Antifa poster, Mild poster, or something like that. Chairman Mao poster. I'm not sure.
Chairman Mao.
Just like you are, Aphid.
I'm wondering if they're speaking English because I don't understand a word that's coming out of his mouth.
Even me?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, but you can hear the words I'm saying?
Project Veritas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Project Veritas they covertly, recorded this teacher, a high school teacher, who was bragging about how he was bullying students into basically being radical left-wing activists. And it was pretty nasty. It was an icky sort of not even an interview. The guy was just bragging about it. He didn't realize he's being recorded. Those dogs.
Sorry.
Okay,
So these are high school.
Oh, the other one's getting jealous over here. Pipe down.
Participants of the pub. That's right.
Wild
honored guest.
Yeah, he was saying some crazy things. He was saying things like, "I've got 180 days to convert these kids into revolutionaries."
I wonder why he was so jazzed up. I mean, he might have been, on a high-end, stimulant of some sort, either coke,
meth,
coke. He was acting very strangely.
Meth is the new coke, George. Meth is everywhere. You can't find much coke anymore.
All right. I wouldn't know.
Think about it. You could make meth over in fucking Worcester or in the shitty part of the state, but you got to make coke down in Colombia. So it's
you got to have coca leaf to start with, and you can't get that around here. Can't grow that.
Well, you can actually. They do sell seeds if anyone's interested.
You got
fairly easy to find.
Up from Mexico, don't you? Don't you still have a pipeline of?
Cypher, stop barking. We're listening to you.
You guys
don't have to bark.
I didn't know you could hear that.
Is it a glass or is it a load of birds?
I can hear.
Well, there's a little dog that's really wanting to come over.
I can. All right, look at that, boy. It's almost like I shut off all the audio.
It sounds like a glass factory processing broken glass.
It's like we need a little background noise, but his was like, Jesus, it was like Jumanji in the background.
I think it was too much communism talk for him. He didn't want to go down that road.
I thought he had the noise, cancellation headphones on, but he didn't.
Maybe they only work on the sound going in, not the sound
that's
coming
right.
out.
They don't work on nature sounds.
Right.
It's funny.
Because he's got a microphone, so
that is a nice little yard. He's got a nice spread there.
Yeah, and the funny thing at the end is that Project Veritas done a follow-up when they bumped into the teacher on the streets. Well, they didn't bump into him. Obviously, they waited for him to leave his house or something. And he was wearing a communist hammer and sickle shirt at the time. and you go on Project Veritas YouTube channel. He said, I feel quite intimidated. And the reporter said, well, yeah, like your students have for the last couple of years, they've been feeling really intimidated by you. He said, this is harassment, and he was going, yeah, once again, your students have been harassed by you for a number of years now. It was
he wasn't so tough.
Yeah, he was such a beta cuck. It was unbelievable. Yeah, going harassing me, just intimidating. Unbelievable.
Yep. Different guy altogether when someone who can stand up to him was there.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Do some Twitter posting on that. And, I'll follow up tomorrow. It does sound like a good one.
Well, I did research briefly, and it does look like he's fired. He's terminated.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They've got to go through the process, which is obviously crazy, but they have. Otherwise, he'll sue him, won't he? So I think he gets fired now, and then he gets fired with no pay shortly, and it'll take a while. Yeah.
Well, they better be firing him because he's
abused his question about
position.
your photo, Welshman.
What's that?
Your photo.
Yeah.
It looks like you're holding a phone on a selfie stick while holding a flag. Who took the actual photo?
Right, well, that come from mainstream media, that did. So that's outside the Old Bailey, that is. The window in the background with the Old Bailey.
Is it a screenshot of a mainstream media video?
Well, someone sent it to me, said, I've got a photo of me. I'm actually stood on top of a generator. So I'm about 15 foot high, and that's like someone else holding that flag, like miles away from me. Just so happens to the flag of me, just sort of waving. I got a GoPro on my hat, on my helmet, on my hat, like.
Was that some kind of a protest?
Yeah, that's when Tommy Robinson was going to court in the Old Bailey for reporting in a public street on a gang of Doncaster gang groomers.
Right. I know what that is. Yeah.
Report on him, got arrested, and that was like his appeal hearing.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that guy had I believe, didn't he have a show with Hayden? Call me crazy, but I think he had Tommy on. Did he or did he not?
I would have thought Hayden would. But
I thought he did on the Live Leak show or early on, but but there was always people saying, dude, get him. And he said he would, but it seemed, I guess maybe that's a monumental task to get the guy for an hour. He's a busy man, but that would be a fucking awesome interview.
Oh yeah, Tommy.
I like anything controversial is interesting. I'm not a big Richie Allen fan per se, but I think all of the shows that he did with Hayden were spectacular. Great listening, just a couple of guys chatting like us here, but eloquent and like really well spoken and really topical.
Well, they know each other, so they're very comfortable. It's
right.
It's like listening in to two friends having a lively discussion.
Hello, Fading Roots and Hayden.
If he spoke like that on his own show, I might actually watch it, but it's totally different on his own show.
Right, on his own show, he's far more polarizing, I would think.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? Richie Allen had maybe he's saying Richie had what's his name?
Tommy.
Tommy the Pitbull.
Oh, okay.
Oh, maybe Storm the Pitbull is actually Tommy Robinson.
No, we've seen Storm before.
Yeah, way back in the
Yeah.
early pub days, he came on.
Yeah, he came on.
Now Hayden had
He was all right. He's all right.
What's
He's
that
coming back
guy?
up, Storm.
He's
that guy
still
with-
here, dude. He's still here. I mean, but
Who's,
yeah,
who's that guy that had the dog with the Nazi salute and you got banned for it?
Oh, that was
Count Dankula.
Count Dankula.
Yeah.
He had him on, in this iteration of his show.
That was a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah. That was
That
about
was a-
what
that was
5 months ago, about half
Yeah.
a year.
That
I have to
Count Dankula is a sharp guy.
He produces a lot of
Yeah.
content, and it's well researched and interesting.
Yeah,
I
he's,
don't. Most of the stuff he puts out is like, between 30 and 45 minutes, and I won't watch anything on YouTube. Very rarely. Every now and then I'll watch something on YouTube that's that long. But
do anyone know what? Sorry, does anyone know what the end result was of that case with the old doing the salute and all that with his dog?
oh, he got fined at least, and
Yeah.
I don't think he did any jail time, though he might have.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
Did
just
he
a
pay the fine? Did he pay the fine
I
by,
don't.
by his own will?
You could Google it real quick.
Well, I tell you what happened.
Yeah.
They took the fucking money out of his account without his knowledge. That's what they fucking
okay.
did.
Oh well.
So he paid
that
it,
sucks.
but
Is
they
that legal?
stole it out of his bank account. The bank allowed this to
Yeah.
happen.
They'll
Right?
do that.
The bank, yeah, unbelievable, isn't it?
It's not
Unfucking
good either.
real.
They do it. It's violation of all sorts of protocols that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. Like, the
Yeah,
dog,
I mean,
he's pretty cute. I mean,
it's a trope now, with him. I mean, it's part of his history that's very funny, in
Right.
retrospect,
it was
And,
perfect because it was so goddamn stupid.
and
To
horrible.
punish him,
Totally-
it was just so overwhelmingly stupid. And the people defending the punishment were like, "Oh, but it's a fucking dog. It's not really a Nazi."
I mean, look at some of Mel Brooks's old humor.
I'm not going
about-
to put my fingers open.
Right.
about the Nazis. Mel Brooks used to look at it as though, let's make fun of them. Fuck
Right.
it. So we're going to have a pug impersonate them. That's insulting the Nazis because it's
Yeah.
a tiny fucking dog, So
Yeah.
it's not.
I mean,
he's-
at best it's a joke, and at worst it's bad taste. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no more to it.
Exactly. It's not more than it is. It's not more than it appears to be. Trying to make it into some grand,
right. I mean, when you get
thing, it's
a dog to
stupid.
give you its paw, all this guy did was do the paw and then raise the hand a little. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't-
Did anyone see the interview he did with a chap called Miles? His name was Lord Miles Rutledge.
the pug
So-
did the interview, or
I highly recommend you watch it's on one of his channels. I know he's got like 2 or 3. But Lord Miles Rutledge was a British guy who changed his name by default to Lord just because he can, right?
So he's not in the
and-
House of Lords after all.
Yeah, he's not part of anything, right? And then he decided, he went, right, where's the most dangerous countries in the world? So he put in top 10, and he said Afghanistan. So he went, okay. So he went to Afghanistan a week before it all kicked off.
No kidding. Wow.
And he was stuck over there, right? He literally done a live stream. It's very funny if anyone wants to see it. It's if you put Lord Miles in, it'll show his live stream, and he was doing it on 4chan. He was kicked off Facebook. He was doing it on 4chan. He was just saying share it everywhere, and he became really famous. Some people thought he was an idiot, and other people thought he was like an eccentric Englishman, which is exactly what he is. He's a fucking quite foolish, eccentric, harmless Englishman.
One of the erratic souls of the pluriverse, yes.
Yeah, he got out eventually. He got out, but he was literally in safe houses for like a week, basically. And he said basically the only reason he got out was because the Taliban got us out. He said the Taliban escorted us through the Kabul into the airport.
See, the difficult thing is that people talk about the Taliban, but I don't think there's one Taliban in it. So
No.
if you
And he
have
even said, sorry.
if you get a good faction, then you're in good shape. If you're like somewhere you shouldn't be and the wrong Taliban get you, you might be mistreated extremely.
Fingernail or two.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he said he was Welsh, and the Taliban guy said, "What?" Well, he said, "I'm Welsh," and he didn't understand.
I'm not English. Nothing to do with
He's
it. I'm
English.
Welsh.
He's English. He just said, "I thought I'd say I'm Welsh because it would confuse him."
Yeah, the English piss me off too. I'm Welsh.
Yeah. Anything bar English over there, yeah, I don't blame him.
But even then, you'd have to know that means from Wales. It's not like the words are the same. Welsh, Wales, right? I mean,
you're talking to a caveman. What's he gonna know?
That was my next thing. That was literally what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's nowhere near England. It's the other side of the planet.
To where we came from last time. They're much
Well-
less than cavemen.
let's face it, if you said Welsh here in the U.S., people would say, is that where they make the grape jelly?
Wow.
I hate to say it, but you're right.
Wait,
You know?
wait, it's not?
It's not. No.
It's up,
Oh.
it's up in Canada.
Well,
This is
we
one
all
of
know
those-
what the Americans are like for geography.
This is one of those too soon jokes, Winning a war, so simple even a caveman could do it.
Right, exactly.
Well, I don't know. There was this one video circulating of this broadcaster in somewhere in Afghanistan who was like not yet doing what the Taliban wanted, and two Taliban soldiers with guns came in, and he was like broadcasting, how the Taliban were great or something, while these two Taliban guys are standing there on camera. One of them, he looks like somebody straight out of Central Casting. He's got, the unibrow.
Yeah, he looked like straight out of Deliverance, bro.
Right,
but
he
with
had
tan
this-
skin.
He had this dead look to his eyes, like, he had at most, a 75 IQ. It looked fake. It was so funny looking. But
Yeah.
no, it was not fake, to say the least.
Prototypical.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crazy times.
We can't.
I-
It's not our war. We just gotta.
Anymore.
No,
That's it. It's
Well-
over.
glad to be done with it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It sucks the way that we got to this point, but let's just get forward and fucking. That's it. It's over. Right.
Can I make one complaint?
You may.
One of the things that Biden kind of bragged about, beat his chest about during his speech, was about this drone attack that he says was on ISK. Now-
Like that.
10 people of an innocent family. died.
Exactly. As far as anyone can tell,
Suck up.
it looks like he just killed a family of 10 people, including 7 children.
Yeah,
And-
that's what it looks like.
Do you think that they actually just found a few people and thought, let's fire
Yeah.
on them and save the little ISIS just so we can appease people?
Well, who's going to disagree?
Exactly.
Who's going to disagree?
Here, Biden is bragging about it, like we showed them. I'm a tough guy, and maybe the story will change. Maybe they will say that we hit who we thought we were hitting. These people were killed by, I don't know, a secondary explosion by the bombs in the car.
But
But as far as I could tell, that it was they droned the family, and that's who the U.S. military
I
killed.
saw that was a hot point with you, over the days.
Yeah.
And,
I
right.
remember they said there was 2 suicide bombers, and then a couple of days later they decided there was 1 bomb. Remember they said there was one outside a hotel,
Yeah.
and then one by the sewer, right by the fucking by the airport entrance. Turns out there wasn't one by the fucking hotel. There was just the one by the sewer. But that run for a good 24, 36 hours. But I think it was even longer before they corrected it. So
Well, they
it's like,
started off
how
with a
fluid
death
is
toll of
news?
1 or 2, and next thing you know, it's way up
But
there,
Yeah, but
unfortunately.
but the thing is, when someone posts something wrong on the live streams for us, and it comes out wrong, and they've given the wrong, it's just incorrect, and it can happen, you say, don't pull that down because that's like, that's not what happens, and they'll turn around, and you'll put it down, whatever. But like the world press went on 2 suicide bombs for at least 36, 48 hours. Two suicide bombers. Oh, no one's questioned it. Oh, now we're questioning it. It was 1. Okay, it's 1. It's 1 now. It's fucking hell.
The worst
Take
thing
it
is
easy,
this.
it's okay.
This just keeps happening
What it
every
is.
time there's some event. The press makes all these definitive, authoritative statements that are based purely on guesses or preliminary information. They don't say it's just a guess. They say this is what happened, and they're often, mostly wrong at the end. And they don't say
I've just
we
had a
won't do it
really good
again.
idea.
Lay it on us, brother.
It might be bioterrorism, but what if we offered anti-vaxxers that that test positive, like free holidays to Afghanistan?
Yeah, that would
Oh,
be bioterrorism.
Jesus, here we
What-
go.
Now
That's
you
correct.
son of a bitch.
Biscuit. Why don't we get like these? Why don't we get these fascists in society to
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
off to North Korea? See how they like fascism properly.
Let
They
me.
have
Wait a second, we were
anti-vaxxers
talking about
have, if they
communists,
want
now we're
the
talking
free
about
holiday
fascists.
to,
God damn,
if they want the free holiday to Afghanistan, they've got to hug a Taliban.
too much for me, Steve.
Last answer. Were you going to say let the bodies hit the
I was going to
floor?
say that sounds similar to the giving the Indians smallpox laced blankets back in
I was going to go
the
there.
17th century
Yeah,
and the 18th century.
yeah, progressive. That is, Biscuit. Very progressive of you.
It's just a joke. I looked me.
All right, I know.
Too late. I've
a
already
real-
sent the suggestion in.
A real funny
Been
story.
reported.
I
We're
seen.
narking on you.
I seen today on YouTube from Lotus Eaters is where they had gender studies course in Afghanistan in Kabul, and the Taliban have just kicked it out. And this woman who was involved in it, she said, "Oh well, it's it was really good, it was really progressive, and we were going to get somewhere. And now the Taliban are in. Oh, it's hot, it's horrible, and that's been destroyed." And the Taliban responded to a tweet. One of the representatives from the Taliban, he said, what that course represents and what it stands for is degenerate Nazi behaviour. He said, we don't have any of that, right?
Well, as long as Mustafa gets his pronouns right, I'll be okay with it.
But the funny thing was, they even quoted bits from her gender studies thing. They had gone through their gender studies thing.
Yeah.
And, actually highlighted bits where they said that boy love is accepted and stuff by the far left. And they said, yeah, we don't do any of this shit.
Yeah, them homies don't play that. Tell you.
And,
They ain't gonna play that shit.
So, Based Washman, do you find that you actually are you finding that you like the ideals of the Taliban? From what I hear, you're on board.
Come on. No, I'm not saying that at all. But it's highly amusing that we've got the Taliban responding to the woman that had organised this, right? And then throwing her own material back in her face to say that it does promote this sort of degenerate behaviour to do with kids.
Right. Well, what do you think about that course in general? Would you say that it should be allowed to be taught, or that it's better off to have it nixed?
Well, do you think that older men should be doing things to younger boys of underage?
Oh hell no, dude! Come on.
Okay, well that's what was part of a gender studies fucking bullshit thing she had going on.
That's a stretch there,
particular-
but look at now.
Gender
There's
studies
nothing
in and of itself, though, gender
the question,
studies
isn't it?
is a legitimate course, but it shouldn't be covering things of that nature. It should be covering gender and studies.
Let me check.
I mean, I knew a stripper who was had a PhD in women's studies.
Yeah, you got to watch the strippers, man. They brainy, some of them.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They're mentally soulless. They haven't got much souls.
Yeah, there's some ethics and morals that are sort of circulating around there.
It takes a lot out of them. I tell you, it takes a lot out of them.
If the chick could make $500 a night cash and claim like 60, she's probably going to do it.
Yeah.
A couple nights a week, 1,500 cash. It's good dough.
A lot of shortcuts get taken out there in vice.
I mean, how many fucking people in wait staff and service like that claim all their tips? There must be like 0.1%. It's insane.
When I was running the trade business that I ran back in the 80s and 90s, cash was king, man. If I went out and I replaced some piping and a motor and a pump and a filter, and next thing you know, that homeowner's flipping out about $600-700 in $100 bills. That ain't going into the bank account.
Right.
It was wonderful. That's like God. It's like wonderful.
Yeah, I've known people, not myself.
Sorry, a
of course,
little
but
ethical lapse there on my part. But
other
it's just the way it
people
is.
who I've known who ran businesses would offer cash discounts for payment, even 10%.
Oh yeah, well at the pumps at the
Hell
gas
yeah.
pumps, they do that all the time.
Hell yeah.
My
Right? I mean, right?
my
Yeah.
father-in-law
Yeah.
would always pay cash. Because
Cash
he
is
would always
king.
get a discount
Right.
because they're not going to report.
It's unheard of now, though, isn't it? That sort of arrangement, I think.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
mean,
ain't.
The
I entered the
government can't
mechanic
track it
last
all.
week.
A lot of it's on the
statute of
honest.
limitations is up for my picadillos. So
Yeah.
I'm clear, man. You couldn't do that in the insurance business. Everything went through the company that had the contracts with the agency contracts with the companies. Everything gets reported. It's all in the loop. So,
Right.
but it was good money anyway. But no cash is king money. The only
No,
ca-
I mean, in small like wine shops and shit, you'll notice people will add up on a calculator on occasion if they see cash, and then if you change that way, that's because they don't want it to be on their tape, So it's goes in the
Yeah.
pocket, that's not
Yeah,
uncommon
it's-
all across the country, man.
I mean, yeah, what do they call it? It's like the black market. It almost gets into black market economy, dynamics, and it's not quite in the area of pure vice, but it is tax fraud. Every bit of it is
Right.
tax evasion.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Did I tell you guys
You know?
about the weed growing from my house?
You know what?
The weed growing from my house, not marijuana weed, but like a invasive plant weed.
You did, and I told you to get that picture of this app. Did you
Yeah, I
identify
found
it?
out what it is.
What is it?
Japanese knotweed.
It's a dwarf elderberry.
What is it?
Dwarf elderberry.
Somebody's mother smells of elderberries.
You got dwarf elders, those older dwarfs. I hate those people.
They're currently 7 foot high and 9 foot wide.
Oh,
And that's
God.
a dwarf.
Oh my God! What were you going to say, Aphid Lip? You had something.
Oh, I was thinking about that Texas thing. I can't remember what.
Oh yeah.
It's already like 2 or 3 minutes away, so that memory is long since been erased. But but it had something to do with the whole, Texas, putting the bounties on the, basically. We're talking about cash is king, all right? And then I was thinking to myself, yeah, it's tax evasion, so I shouldn't say anything about any of my experiences, because just like this law could be a bounty thing, if you go there, how much further can you take it? How many other laws can you
Be careful,
make a
the
bounty
algorithms are listening.
thing?
No, you're totally right, because
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean,
You do have to
there's
be
a limit. I mean, my limit is just not being involved in vice, except for legal vice like alcohol. And
But yeah, that whole bounty,
marijuana.
that whole bounty thing, man. I don't know. It seems like bad news to me.
There was a pretty good story that the TikTok crowd, the young folk, had set out to torpedo that whole process by, there's a tip line, a hotline for giving tips, and what they were doing is flooding that tip line with false,
I heard that. That's great. Isn't it?
I mean, it's a little early. I wouldn't think that process would be ongoing already, but I guess maybe it is. I don't know, actually.
The snitch line was just getting flooded with false leads.
Snitch
Yeah,
line.
hell yeah, man! You're dangling carrots in front of desperate people. I mean, what do you expect? People are going to be looking. They're going to be looking for people. That's what they're going to
Which is-
groups and
That's
have
Orwellian shit there, man.
sit around like we're all sitting around here right now, and scheme and try to figure out the best way to catch these people. That's bullshit. That's not good.
For the win, Neil.
Let's see if Neil might want to come on. Neil's a cool dude, man. He's from Drone Tech's channel and other places. I'm gonna go grab some beers. What up, Newt? Fuck the world, homeboy.
I expect this law to be repealed or changed quickly.
Yeah,
I just wonder how long it'll take.
Quickly.
I mean, the fact that the majority of the Supreme Court, just chooses to ignore it, to alarm anybody and just put it off like, oh, this ain't gonna happen.
Did they hear that?
I don't think it's fair.
They did. Their ruling. I mean, this ruling was also discussed on the Volokh conspiracy, and their ruling was mainly a very technical ruling about what people can sue about, because there's nobody enforcing. It's a very weird law, as we've said, and there's no agent of enforcement at the state to enjoin.
I agree, but I mean, who's to say if there's not a need for it, that they won't make it? Once it's proven to work, and these other states might think that that's not a bad idea. Maybe we can do that. And then other states are going to be like on the totally opposite end of that, and you're not going to, even come close to understanding where they're coming from, and they're going to be able to do the same thing on a technicality. I don't know. I just think that this is a point in life where we need to pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I think it's even if no matter where you stand on the issue, if you're for restrictions on abortion, this ain't the way to do it.
No, exactly. I'm actually not too far from their beliefs on how they think. So, but the way that they're trying to do it, I think is just, I just think it's opening a can,
Is it at the point where a state judge can't put, what would you call it? An enjoinder? Does that sound
injunction?
Injunction. Yeah, something to stop it from being, enforced.
Or
has it already been heard at the federal level?
It's already been heard at the Supreme Court, but there are different ways to bring another suit under a different theory.
Hey, Dippy.
And
I don't even know which side I would go on betting if I was going to put money down. Is it going to stay or is it going to go? I don't know which side I'd pick right now. But the fact that it's that close and this is that scary should be alarming.
Roe versus Wade wasn't officially overturned, was it?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't keep up with a lot of the big.
But I mean, it's like they found a workaround around Roe versus Wade is what they did.
Yeah. I think they think they found a workaround, but they're going to find that they've opened a Pandora's box, as you said, and they don't want to do that, so they're just going to change their own law.
Are we on about abortions? And they've changed the law recently in certain states.
Look where we're at.
Texas.
Yes, on the due date, you can kill your unborn baby. Yeah.
The law they passed was like this is like fetal heartbeat or something.
Yeah, which is a whole topic in itself, the fetal heartbeat thing, because it's not a heart as we know it.
The facts are that around 80 to 85% of people who find out they're pregnant, women, find out they're pregnant after the fetal heartbeat has already started.
Yeah, and then what are they going to do? Like if they find out like a couple days before, like make arrangements to these like one place in the whole state that does it.
Wait, we're not on about early pregnancy though. That's not the problem. I was told that correct me if I'm wrong, that you can have an abortion on your due date.
No, that's crazy fucking talk, dude. That's so far out in left field. No.
Okay, so
what do you think we are?
This provides an action for any abortions basically at the 6-week mark or later. That's basically when
conception.
No, you can't really the way they
it would be 6 weeks.
6 weeks is what they think is when
6 weeks is based. Well, 6 weeks is based off of the pregnancy tests that they do, which they're pretty darn accurate on that. I might add.
6 weeks.
Because when you go in your first time to find out you're pregnant, which could be at 6 weeks, they can tell you pretty much within 3 or 4 days when that kid is going to be born.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, that I agree with.
We should get in a fight over something, but this is not going to be it.
But there's a 12 to 14 week thing there that they do that's important to know. That I don't know. If you haven't been there, then you might not understand.
You know, the issue of a woman's sovereignty over her body, you know, is a big deal. I mean, there's been a weird, you know, series of political machinations or machinations, whatever the word is, you know, that women have enacted in their radicalism over the last couple of decades. But that particular issue is one that I think is you know, sacrosanct between them and the little thing that's in them. You know, and me being this oafish idiot, you know, that I am, I don't really have any say in what women do with their bodies.
I'm with you, Cypher. That's
yeah.
my
Some
opinion.
of you guys are more refined than I am, frankly, and you may have a better way of enacting your.
I'm not refined, but I wouldn't call an unborn baby a thing, Cypher. I would call it a baby or an unborn baby.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I won't call it a zygote. You know, it's an unborn baby. You know. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, it's again, I've just been through so much in such a way that my life makes me not capable of making judgments on women and their unborn babies. You know, I can't do it with any authority.
Right. For me to get down to...
That's respectable, Cypher, this.
To get down to the fact of the matter for me is, I think 6 weeks is just too early to say. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe 10 weeks, 11.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. What do you? There's got to be a line somewhere.
I mean, there's got to be
viability. If you're gonna let them do it, it can't be.
There's got to be a high viability of survival percentage.
It's a bit like hate speech laws. Who makes the hate? Who decides it's hate? Who decides it's a fully formed baby? Who decides it's a creation? Who decides?
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't really matter because if these chicks are like not intending to get pregnant and they don't want to be pregnant, then
have contraception.
In my opinion,
there's about 4 different types of contraception available freely.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's not really for me to really fuck with other people, so I'm not going to even decide what other people can do. That's my opinion.
I hear what Base is saying.
It should be done scientifically, either by the first heartbeat, then maybe scientifically the first brainwave.
There is a powerful instinct to protect the most defenseless human beings
of course
on the planet, and that is the unborn children. So,
hopefully, what the born ones? All the ones who are actually.
Oh, but I mean, that's the same concept. I mean, in the womb, out of the womb, they're defenseless, and that's where your fatherhood and motherhood, and what's that oxytocin? You have this enormous rush of the oxytocin, structure, molecular structure that is the nurturing, hormone. And all of a sudden you've got this huge rush and you become this ferocious father that will kill anything that fucks with your baby or your child. And that's a good thing. And the motherhood is the same way. Mothers are known to be ferocious, in the animal kingdom and in the human, sphere as well. So I respect all of that. I tiptoe around children, not having any children of my own. If I'm out in public and some kid goes, comes up to me, what do they call that? I lock up, I like, get the fuck away from me. I don't want some parent, taking the piss out of me and giving me a bunch of shit.
Can you put up FTW Nil's joke, Smokesteve? You gave us a joke and we didn't acknowledge it. I liked it.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was subpar. No offense, Bill.
Well, if it was subpar, that's probably why I like it more.
I got you.
An unborn child starts its heartbeat in the 5th week,
Pull the microphone closer, homeboy.
It starts its first heartbeat in its 5th week.
Yeah, and that's way too early. Some people don't even know they're pregnant yet.
I mean, you miss a period, it's almost 6 weeks right there.
Are you talking about heartbeat?
Yeah, in an unborn baby, the heartbeat starts in the 5th week.
But if you look at it, there's no. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a wrong choice. So I'm just telling you scientifically.
It's not fully developed until 10 weeks, though.
Right. There's no blood system. There's no there's no.
So it's got no blood.
Any type of.
It's got a heart.
Hold on. So there's no. The heart is not like a pump at that age. It's just a series of electrical pulses.
Blood vessels.
Yeah. Is what it is.
Which is why I said scientifically you've got to figure out maybe its first brainwave patterns or when it starts thinking.
Do you know what I think should happen? I think people in the West, especially, should be more responsible for their own actions, because 45% of women in the UK who have an abortion has already had an abortion.
Is somebody playing the tambourine?
No, I think that's a cricket behind your head, dude.
Hey guys, stop playing the tambourines. You ready?
When you came on tonight, like there was a super loud cricket in your basement.
Me?
There. Yeah, totally. Because I turned my volume down because I was upstairs and I was preparing some food. Oh, see, that's somebody else's. Did you mute yourself? Yeah, that's a cricket and somebody else's.
It's you!
It's Lasty. It's Lasty.
I mean,
Lasty doesn't have crickets. It's you, man. Look at you. You're in Cricket Central over there.
That's all right, man. You got like your window open or something?
Who would believe it's aphid lip? I mean, he's outside. There's nothing outside, but it's all sterile there, right?
I'm sure there's some outside.
Biscuit Vapes, when does the prehensile tail disappear on the baby?
What's that? Say that again.
When does the prehensile tail disappear on the baby?
On a redneck, it happens after death.
That's my joke from what I was talking about last week. Primitive, primeval, primordial, prehensile.
He's looking it up, Cypher. Look,
no,
he's in thought over there.
Don't look it up, Biscuit Babes. There's no prehensile tail on a embryo.
There is. It's the base of the spine.
Well, it's not prehensile.
Oh, yeah, it's not prehensile. You dumbass.
I'm being an asshole.
Damn it, you got me from what you said the other day.
I got you.
About the same time, the webbed feet disappear.
Hey, some people's web feet never disappear.
Every now and then, the old web fingers and toes come out.
My buddy's got webbed feet.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah, he does.
Web toes.
Well, I wouldn't call him web. I wouldn't call. Well, I mean, you give him shit. Are you gonna say does that help with swimming?
With skateboarding.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say with swimming because
swimming he must be like a rocket going.
It's like I've known him my whole life, So anytime anybody in my whole entire life when I was with him brought up swimming of any kind, I would point him out and I would be like, I'd say his name and I'd say he's really good at swimming because he's got webbed feet.
If his webbed feet don't help him, does his beaver tail help him?
My volume's not too loud now, is it?
Bred with a platypus.
No, it's good.
But I'm sure he don't want every single person that he's ever met in his life to know about how he's got webbed feet, but I didn't have a problem with letting him know.
Does he have any other genetic deformities?
No.
Really?
No. And it's not really webbed. It's like
webbing?
Well, it's like they're just attached. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's like when you think of a duck foot or something,
Right.
It ain't like that. Or a bat, like a bat wing.
Right.
It's not like a bat wing.
So you're saying there's really not much webbing between all 14 of his toes.
It's just, they look like when you see his foot regular, you would never know. It looks like a regular foot. But if he separates them, those two sets of toes only separate so far. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow. Like I'm sure he could get it cut, and sewn up, and being
sounds tough.
not have web feet the rest of his
You
life.
might be wrong. I mean, there might be blood vessels and stuff in there. It's not
Maybe.
Well, let me try it. Oh, damn, I'm bleeding to death.
We should have tried it like a paper cut. That's what we should have done. It was.
Let me make sure that you're never involved in a surgery of conjoined twins.
No.
Hey, you just saw right in the middle. That's what I would do.
Man,
that's like the most painful place to get a cut on between your fingers, like a paper cut or a slice. That sucks. I've had them. Be a terrible surgery. Whoa, Jesus! What was that?
Now that's a cricket.
That was somebody driving a truck past someone's house.
Aphids right on the main road. What are you sitting right on the sidewalk facing the street?
Who?
Aphid Lips property is between the lanes of I-95.
It just sounded like an F-350 Super Diesel went by.
I hear some Harleys actually.
Well, that's weird. I wonder if Warren's some other microphone.
Yeah, see, I got noise canceling earphones on, so I can't. The outside noise, I can't hear at all.
What's your mic? Are you on the mic from the headphones or?
Well, I hope so. Can you hear me? Like, is this where the sound is coming?
Yeah. That mic's just picking up everything. That's fine. It sounds cool. No worries.
Well, it's the only option because this is what you got.
No worries at all, man.
It's not like shattering glass anymore. It's just light chirping now.
Exactly.
It'll change. It's gonna get dark here. I might go burn. I don't know if you can see that wood in my fire pit down there. I might go burn.
Have you set the dynamite off yet?
No, I haven't. I was gonna. Damn it! I keep forgetting about it, man. Every time I think I'm gonna do it, that weekend comes and goes, and I don't do it. And I totally never thought about it that weekend.
I'll send you $100 cash if you set it off right on that cushion where your right hand is. You put it on an empty beer can and then run away. But leave the camera where it is.
Well, now the problem is it's not a major event. Like if it was 4th of July, I wouldn't. It's because it's over the top. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna rattle windows of my neighbors, and I gotta deal with that the rest of my life with these neighbors. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta gauge if that's if that's worth it to me.
It starts sweating and becomes dangerous.
What?
You don't want to leave it so long that it starts sweating and becomes dangerous.
Oh no! I mean, it's a cardboard tube with gunpowder in it, and
Oh, it's not real dynamite.
No, it's not real dynamite. It's just a shitload of gunpowder packed into, a container. Like when we were kids, we had made these pipe bombs. I'm just saying it all casually, like when we were kids, and it's not like even. Well, it's the same amount of it's almost the same amount of black powder, to be honest with you, but it's in a container that will not hold its own very well like a pipe bomb does.
My best friend had a neighbor who was a year or two younger than us, and we were out putzing around at his house, and it was like junior high. I don't think we were high school yet, and the kid had a little workshop area, and he was hidden from us, and there was this huge flash, and I mean we looked, and I mean the entire interior of this workroom area flashed in a whoosh explosion, and he had set off raw gunpowder like you're talking about. Man,
I don't know what the fuck that was.
I think it's based Welshman because he.
No, I just muted Aphid. It was totally him. He was feeding back on himself.
That, and he had it was like a highway sound. Vehicle on it. He's.
Well, you never know what these microphones will pick up.
Sorry, yeah, totally. It was me. Sorry, I wasn't even paying. I'm just like so in the list. I don't hear that, so I'm hearing you guys talk. So for me, it's a completely different experience, and I apologize because I understand the etiquette of being a good guest, and
it was almost like feedback. What was that? A car?
Well, there was a motor. I could hear a motorcycle going from. We're up on top of a hill, and then we go down behind me. The woods goes down in a valley, and then comes back up in the same level as we are with the highway. It's not that far away. It's less than a mile away.
Is there some wind blowing? Because if the wind blows the right way, you'll hear it. Whereas if it blows,
No, there's
wind,
actually,
no.
it doesn't look like a
Right.
barely
none of
leaf
those,
moving
You
at
know,
all.
those long grasses or whatever you got behind you aren't even moving, barely.
Right.
Yeah, for years I lived about 8 miles away from the Daytona Beach International Speedway, and if the wind was blowing one way, you wouldn't hear the race at all.
Right.
But if the
Right.
wind, blew in from the racetrack to the residence, I mean, you could just, yeah, they would wind it, man. It was cool listening to it.
The temperature matters too.
Yeah,
There's more
yeah.
humidity. If it's humid, you're not going to hear it. But if it's
That's
dry,
right.
the air's dry, that sound's going
Yeah.
to go for miles.
Yeah, yeah.
You guys mind if I eat while we're on the?
No, dude,
not
totally go for it. You got to
Okay.
at least share with us what you're having, though.
You wouldn't want it. It's tofu and rice.
I knew they'd
You're
be
gonna have-
involved.
You're going to have those vegetarian farts later tonight.
I can't wait for my dinner tomorrow. I've got something really big planned.
What do you got?
I've got. Have you ever heard of the brand Stag Chili?
Yes.
Not the band, but I know
Oh,
what
there's a
chili
band,
is.
or are you talking about a can?
I'm on about the can of chili.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Stag chili.
What I'm doing, what I've got is like cans of Stag chili. I'm gonna wrap them up in like tortillas with mozzarella cheese and some mushrooms and peppers, and
Sounds
bake
good.
them in the oven.
Are you
Nice.
going with mozzarella instead of like more of a Mexican cheese, like a Monterey Jack or a pepper jack?
Yeah, I'm going with a nice stringy, gooey, century
No
mozzarella.
jalapenos in there? to
Oh
give
yeah,
it a kick?
jalapenos as well.
Oh,
All right, now you're talking. That hits it.
You're getting ready to make that tonight?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, I was
for
going to
dinner.
say, isn't it like 1 in the morning there right now?
Yeah.
So then
All I've had to eat today is 2 small cheeseburgers with mozzarella.
More mozzarella, huh?
Have you lost any more?
I've got 2 massive bags of grated mozzarella.
Yep.
Have you lost any more of those stones biscuits?
Oh, I don't know. I keep weighing myself, but the scales keep saying I've put weight on, but my tape says that I've lost it.
Your what says?
The tape around my waist says that I've lost weight.
Right, yeah, you might be losing weight around your waist, but you might not be losing weight overall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm actually
that
gaining weight, but my waist
Yeah.
is getting smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no disrespect, biscuits. You know, and I know the 2 cheeseburgers and mozzarella is actually not a good help.
Yeah, but if that's all the calories I've had, I made it myself. It's not like I bought it from a takeaway. They were just little,
No, no.
like little beef burgers from butchers.
I mean,
Biscuit,
that's not
I think to
terrible.
put it in perspective, if you told him what you would normally have had, like let's say a year ago, in the same amount of time.
I would have had 2 14-inch meat feast pizzas with onion rings, chips,
Right.
and maybe a side of lasagna.
Yeah,
Side.
Good for you. Good for you though, because like you said when you were out, you said you were out on your bike last week, and then one of them said it's electric, but it's good that you're out on your bike. You want to keep on going. Don't drink on your bike. Don't get pissed
be
on
right
your bike.
back.
I've fallen over.
The thing is, I'd had those like over the course of like 7 hours. So
Yeah, but you said you were pissed. Trust me, if you're not going to bounce off the floor well. None of us do at our age. None of us.
Can you ride your bike
to off that bike? I would have I would probably have died. I would going like 20 mile an hour. And,
Biscuit.
34 stone falling at 20 mile an hour is not a good thing.
No.
Yeah, and let's be clear. When you say ride your bike, we mean ride on your bike. You don't pedal the thing.
No. Well, I do when there's hills.
Oh, you do? You can add to the motor?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I mean, you were saying you couldn't even get out of the house before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're riding a bike, dude, I'm saying.
Yeah, but last week he rode the bike down the road 9 miles and had like 10 beers with his blood.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to condone you driving while drunk by any means.
David Lepp, I think there's I think you got a child in the way.
Back to make it back to the pub.
Dog.
I went completely sober. I only came 9 miles back.
Well, if we all yell, it's like there's no fucking dogs. So everybody yell.
Or we can all bark.
Yeah,
I made live leak videos about those dogs barking.
Let's bring on Mr. McGrand.
Hey, McGrand, good to see you.
How you doing, dude?
He'll answer you in 30 seconds.
That's you. You are live.
Check one. Check one.
Say hi.
Oh, yeah.
Howdy. Howdy.
Yeah, see, he's good.
Yeah,
You're
He's
in.
good.
You're in. Hey, repeat this for me as quickly as you hear it. 5, 4, 3.
5, 4, 3.
Not bad. All right, we're right there. We're right there.
That's enough to keep a conversation going.
That's instant with reaction time.
I agree.
That could be alcohol delay, not latency.
Speaking of, I'm gonna get me another beer.
Man, that one dog has got he's like gasping for air.
Yeah. That's like a pug or something. You know, they got the nose.
No, I think
the flat nose.
That's a katydid or a cicada. That might be a cicada.
No, it's a flat nosed dog there.
His mic picks up, unexpected things better than others.
I guess so. And that frequency is right in the wheelhouse of that microphone.
I mean, it sounds like the cicada is right in, is actually right by the mic.
Oh, it just stopped calling. Wow, it jumped.
I just found out and put in the back chat that there's 5 states in the US that has no restrictions on abortions. One's Hawaii. I think the other one's New Jersey. I don't know about the rest because they haven't named the states. They just coloured them. But it's in the side chat. 5 states.
Good evening, my Welsh friend. May I speak to you for a moment?
Yeah, man.
So, did you also notice that Texas passed a law where everybody can carry a gun, open carry, with no license, no background check, no
That's
nothing.
how it should be.
Okay,
I
so
disagree.
that's what's happening in Texas. At the same time, they're saying women can't get abortions.
That
and
is not good.
And a bunch of Democrats can't vote either.
Yeah, I mean, it's very closely. I know it's Republican at the moment, isn't it? But there's not much in it.
No, but here's the funny thing. I'm talking about the personal freedoms.
Yeah.
But he talks about we want to give you the freedoms. We don't want you to have to wear a mask. We don't want to have to get you a vaccine. We don't want you to do about anything as long as it's the cause. Because we want to give you personal freedoms.
Matt Grandy, this is good because I do think that there should be some basic controls around firearms and firearm carrying. And I do also think there should be basic and civilized controls around abortion. And that neither should be so extreme as to have people ratting out on their neighbors and just like it seems like it's not an even balance,
What would the laws be if you
know what the funny thing is like Texas has Ted Cruz, who's a Cuban or a Cuban Canadian, and in Cuba, you know what they do? They have somebody every block listening into your window to see what you're talking about to your family, to your papa, to your abuelo, to your grandchildren. They're listening in.
Those are the guardians of the
revolution. And the Republicans want freedom. But yet, what are they doing? Anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
I would just counter that with one point. And I do agree with what Steve said. There's extremes on this matter. 5 states that will go on due date, and there's a lot in between, right? But this 6 weeks thing and then this due date, there's got to be a better middle ground, I believe. But just to give you my counterpoint, a gun necessarily won't kill anyone. An abortion will.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. That's for sure, and so will capital punishment, which is being supported by the same people who are raising hell about abortions. They're all for capital punishment, and how many people have been exonerated from death row? I mean, even in your country, A man goes to the year for 25 years, maybe 30, maybe more.
That's one thing that happened here recently I am not happy about. The paedophile rapist that got out after 33 years, were it?
Yeah, he killed 2, didn't he? He's just going out now. They've given him parole.
Well,
it
I don't care if he's
being got parole, or he's eligible for parole, I think.
Yeah, I think he's been granted it, which means it's like more process, but basically he could be out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'll apologize too. I got hungry. I'm eating too.
That's all right.
So what kind of life is that guy going to have?
Well,
if it was any place, if it was like here, that guy would be dead after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the guy he killed the 2 kids
he raped them and then killed them.
2 or 3 years apart too, right? Based.
I don't know about that, but you might know more than me there.
Yeah, I just read the article about it. The guy was it was like 1 in 81, 1 in 83, and
right.
Well, here in the U.S., we had strings of serial killers who did 1 every year or 2 for 20 years. But this guy, thank God they caught him after 2. And he probably would have done 10, 12, 20, who knows what.
The problem we got in the UK is like, say you get sentenced to 9 years. In the UK, we passed a law that you would most probably serve like 3. Now, so I'll give you an example. The London terrorist attack, where the chap, he was a released terrorist who got released on half sentence. He had an ASBO for London. He wasn't allowed in London, but they give him
the head cutter.
They give him a train ticket.
That's the head cutter, right?
Yeah, he sliced up
the policeman.
He got caught on the bridge in the end. It's the most recent one, and they were fighting him off with a fire extinguisher and a Warhol tusk.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. So what happened there? Osman Khan, I think his name was. There's so many now. I could be wrong. What they did? They give him a train ticket down and a night in London in a hotel, and he had a chaperone meeting, right? But he was a model prisoner that had been released. So he had come to this conference to explain how he's turned his ways and he's free from that. And he's a brilliant guy. And what he actually did, he turned up, he then went to the toilet, started strapping knives to his wrists and hands. And then he just started, in so many words, just in a mostly peaceful haram butchering. And then he got sort of chased out, and that's when you did that footage you see of him on the bridge where there's a guy with a Warhol tusk jabbing him and a guy with a fire extinguisher, and he gets a double tap in the head. Now that guy was released 50% early, and then he ended up killing 2 people.
Was that one where the radical activists marched on his behalf? I think there was a march on his behalf. That was
what radical
one more of those
bullshit
bullshit.
Would that be?
BLM.
Radical activist.
BLM.
Where's that shit come from?
It came from my mouth.
Okay. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're your people, Matt Grandy. Your people there, the radical activists.
See, and the worst thing about this in the UK, because we keep releasing them, is that this chap that was sentenced for 18 years, it was for the stock exchange bombing that they were going to do, and
it was just a poor misunderstood soul,
It was mostly peaceful, I was told.
Mostly.
It was mostly peaceful because he got thwarted, but he got sentenced for 16 years, served 8, then got released as a model prisoner, went to give a big torch, speech, because he was such a model prisoner, and that's exactly. So all the money we're spending on this as well to turn and make them good citizens again, they thought they had a corker there, and turns out he was fucking all the way through.
He gamed them to the end.
Can you speak of the Welshie? Can you speak of the guy who had the fire extinguisher, or the psychotic who grabbed the narwhal tusk? Where those guys should be national heroes. They ran right at that guy.
Well, I'll give you a bit more on that. One of them's a convicted murderer, and guess what he
I
did?
heard about him.
Yeah.
I heard.
Are you telling me that a terrorist and a convicted murderer were facing off against each other by coincidence?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I believe, I'm not 100%.
That's
He
incredible.
was the guy with. I don't think he had a warhunt tusk, but he was the guy that was on top of him. He was the guy who was on top of him when the copper said, "Move, move, move," and they grabbed him by his waist, by his jeans, and as they pull him back, a second later, you hear the
They
double tap.
blasted him. Right.
So he was the guy.
So
that was actually
Welshman.
on top
So
of him.
Welshman,
Well,
you're
let him
telling
finish. Let him finish, McRandy.
I just want to interject. Just
That's
I'll
what
be
I'm
brief.
complaining about.
Go on.
So you're saying that a convicted felon or murderer,
convicted child murderer.
all right,
Actually, was one
also
of the heroes.
stopped a convicted terrorist that was
Well, he was a murderer at that point.
Yeah, well, he's always going to be a murderer, but he had I don't know the great details about it. But
okay.
I don't know the great details, but he was a convicted murderer, and he'd done like the most amazing thing, like any of them did there. Putting their lives. They thought he had a suicide vest because that's what it looked like. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
I'm just trying to bring a parallel there. That
it's amazing.
The same system that released a terrorist also enabled a convicted felon to stop him.
Yeah.
Well, what I think it comes down to, though, is that convicted murderer was probably an extreme alpha male and also psychotic maniac. But he saw this guy coming at them with the fucking knife.
My
he just
point.
said, "Fuck it, I'm going, I'm running." And then this other guy was like a wild soccer hooligan who they went at him like maniacs. It was epic.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree. That's my point exactly.
I heard that.
I get it, but there's two complete differences there. One's ideologically sort of determined.
It's all about ideology. That's our judgment.
And the other
We're making
one,
that judgment now.
Yeah, well, we all know he's a raving Islamist because he's done it. What he did. But the reality is, the other chap could have been in a scenario where it wouldn't be as clean. But
I have often said that criminals could be men in the military. They get the Congressional Medal of Honor because the parallels in life are these are the risk takers or the crazies. And I don't know why I mentioned that, but you got to think of the context. Two prisoners.
I just read about this event
in the military setting. Even in a military setting, only like 70% of the military have never actually killed anyone. It's only the minority of the military that actually fire and kill.
Yeah,
like combatants. Most of the people actually fire above the people's heads that don't want to kill people.
I just read about this event, and both the guy and the terrorist, the murderer and the terrorist, the two different guys, were at the same prisoner rehabilitation conference.
Holy shit, that's astounding.
Because they chased him out. So a couple of them there. But there was a guy with a warhound tusk and a guy with a fire.
Tell me that's not a tragic novel there, Last Dance.
Yeah,
you can't write a script that good.
Exactly, that's better than you can write.
You can imagine being sat in the room. There's photos, there's stills of him in the room just before he does it, and he's in the room, and obviously everyone else in the room, and he just comes out the toilets and goes off, and obviously he got chased out. And like I said, it's crazy. So, can you tell me what the murderer? It was a child he murdered, wasn't it?
No, it was a 21-year-old learning disabled woman.
Oh no!
Right. Okay. And how was the murder, and what was it about? And
he strangled her and slit her throat.
And
it isn't clear why. What was his motivation?
He's more or less your garden variety psychopath from like your basic 1960s. Horror movie.
Exactly.
1970s, early 70s. Once you get further on than that, we're talking multiple victims. But
the guy's a sicko. He could have been a Mormon. Okay, he could have been a Quaker. The guy's a sick.
I think of that as high slander. I've worked with Mormons, and they are
the
everyone I've worked with.
Here. He's on a troll roll.
All right, how about those Quakers then? Come on.
Well, I don't know any Quakers other than Nixon.
I know the Quakers make a nice pie.
They make good oats too. You know, the oats are great.
They're oats. They're top notch.
Apple pies, man.
Anyone heard
Actually, I have an affinity for the Mennonites because, man, that free swatter market, when they open that up, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the terror attack in New Zealand today?
No.
Yes, horrible.
What happened?
So, a gentleman from the religion of fun, originally from Sri Lanka, now residing in
a gentleman.
I prefer to say Ceylon.
Ceylon.
One of those guys. The old British Empire language.
Yeah, stab up 6 innocent people. He got dealt with by the police, but but
he was being followed. He was being followed.
Yeah, and he still managed to do all he did.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister, Cassandra Ardern, or whatever her name is, that fucking witch, horrid woman.
Oh, she's not a witch. I love her.
Oh, come on. Hey, did you guys hear about the Amish hooker?
I am not an Ardern fan.
Did you hear about the Amish hooker?
No, I didn't.
She had 2 men a night. I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'll let myself out.
I'm surprised the FTW Nil didn't do that one.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister said it had nothing to do with the religion, and it had everything to do with a madman. But he was shouting Alan's snack bar and stuff when he was doing it, which is always quite amusing, I find, you know.
Yeah,
what
the
about
snack bar guy.
The activists trying to get Lord Nelson's statue removed just because he was part of Royal Navy, and the Royal Navy had stuff, like they're basically finding roundabout ways to basically blank anyone with racism.
Did he flee with his goat girlfriend?
Yeah. I mean, there's a Twitter channel that tweets about black slave owners on a regular basis, and he says, "I've just come here to give tribute to our black slave owner," and he puts BLM stickers all over it and all
that. Time. We're going to get timeout, Space
slave owners back in the day.
X'd out. Neutralized. Boop.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I don't know if you said this, Based, but this guy in New Zealand, he was already on the authorities' radar. In fact, they were so worried about him that they were actually following him at the time he committed his act. So they shot him in like 60 seconds after he started.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the damage he did in 60 seconds.
Exactly, it doesn't take long.
And there was a case in London about 6 months ago where they were actually in direct contact, like once again, and he went into a pound shop, picked up a knife off the shelf, and started stabbing out.
Yeah,
and he got a double tap as well. What was really good, lads, if you have a look at the footage, I can't remember what it was called. It was in the middle of the
I'm a lad now, thank you.
And they had undercover on a superbike, right? On a proper superbike. And he turned up. They turned up an Audi estate, all fucking. But it was. I was quite impressed by the superbike turn up. He was part of the team, and they were all gunned up. He stabbed a few, but he got taken out again. Yeah. But like, it's crazy. It's going on all the time, isn't it?
Self-defense courses, they discuss, just how quick blades can wreak havoc on human beings, and
knives are the worst thing on the planet, more than bullets. Worst thing.
They figure within 20 feet, if somebody has a knife and they're charging at you, it's really hard to get your pistol out fast enough.
Get your sidearm out.
Yeah. Unless you're really good at backstepping and really quick with your hands. Yeah. They might get to you before you can get done.
It's been
that doesn't mean if you don't keep trying, you might take 1 or 2 shots. then put like 3 right in their fucking chest. But at that point, you could be severely compromised.
Well,
so it's
I watched a video of a cop. He put like 4 bullets into this guy's chest, and he still got up and ran at the cop.
why didn't you shoot him in the leg?
Yeah,
or the head.
I don't know if
He was just shooting, and this guy, this cop gave this guy so many warnings, and he just kept coming and coming and coming. So he piled 4 bullets into him, and he still kept.
That's
coming.
because it was a 9mm instead of a 45.
Yeah.
I don't know. The new super high performance, high pressure 9mm will drop somebody if you hit them in the head.
You know, the death videos are almost, non-existent anymore in the sites I go to anyway. But I don't know if it was when LiveLeak was still, up and running or not. But there was one terrible. I don't know what foreign country it was in, but about 3 different, probably 3 different, officers put bullets into this guy with a knife. And one of the officers, he had somehow put one of the officers down, and he crawled to the officer, and these other guys held their fire, and then he just plunged this knife right in the guy's neck.
Like a field, the guy was running away, and then he turned back on them.
I thought it was on a street, but still, on a field and then into the street.
Yeah, it was like a street, and then kind of a city park next to it that he was kind of jutting into the park and came back. The officers were sort of entering the park, but not committing and not really trying to kill him. I remember that because
he got one guy, and he went right. They watched him crawl over to this fellow officer and just garrote. Is that how you say it?
No. Now I remember.
He just did him in. It was the guy was going to let the officer was probably going to survive his wounds.
This is in a foreign country, right?
I remember that one, Cypher. That one, the guy just basically killed the cop right in front of the other cops. They were all armed.
They were all heavily armed. It was all Keystone cops.
I guess they thought he was too close to the officer to fire, but that was crazy. That was the craziest thing.
Well, they should have engaged.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah, and after he kind of flopped down and he got a few more in the guy's throat kind of from the side, then they wasted him, but it was already too late. That was crazy.
Too late. Yep. There's spooky scenarios, and I've gotten to where, now that I'm not, being so vociferous with my debates, I'm calming down and not feeling that I'm in peril anymore. I still have situational awareness. I'm still carrying, but I'm no longer, I'm not spazzing out about being in imminent danger anymore. I was paranoid, I think, for a little while.
Are you open carry in your state?
No. That's rare. Nobody does that.
No, we're
really.
not Texas yet.
Yeah.
But even just your average gun guy who's just trying to have a level of protection would be a maniac to open carry. You're just you have a 380 in your belt or something kind of tucked in there.
Is it allowed in your state or not?
Oh no, that's a good question, but not in my state. I don't know about Massachusetts. Probably
Massachusetts is concealed carry. You have to redo your license every 5 years.
Georgia allows open carry. Georgia does.
I mean, speaking as a Brit now, and obviously I'm not, but
the states.
When I hear, people, pro guns. They say things like, "Well, no one's going to fuck around in a restaurant or a bar if they know people are carrying guns."
That's instant.
Or no one's going to fuck around in the shopping centre because they know odds on someone's going to be open carrying, and plenty of people will be carrying.
Well, more likely concealed carry because that's what's legal in most states, which is far more dangerous because you wouldn't know.
Okay.
The guy who's got a 357 long, 9-inch barrel hanging off of his hip probably isn't going to be the fastest draw in the world, Wyatt Earp. But even though he's got the same gun, it's not common. It's the guy who has the hidden one that's practices that.
Quite relaxed, concealed carry. I would have thought the criminals are feeling more on edge than the citizens. in that scenario.
Well, the truth of it is, there's a reason why a lot of the guys in the inner city, in the hard neighborhoods, they wear very baggy clothes because they might be trying to conceal stuff. Because
but they're mostly not even legal carriers, are they? Then
no, but those are the criminals that you'd be dealing with.
They
probably are.
They have criminal records. They're not allowed to have firearms, but
they do in great numbers.
Right.
But take the street corners away from the subject. I'm just on about like general, like bars, supermarkets, and stuff like that.
Say that again. What?
Yeah, I'm not on about like street corners where the thugs and they hang out. I'm on about like just like walking down the high street, in shops, bars, supermarkets.
For open carry or general concealed carry?
Doesn't matter. I'm on about like just carrying a gun.
I don't really talk about that, but Cypher, would you take yours to the supermarket for example?
Yeah, I'm always carrying unless it's just right here in the building where I live proper. And even then, sometimes when on a bad day when I'm squirrely, I'll have the sidearm in my little gym shorts pocket. I'm almost always in gym shorts nowadays, except when I go to the stores. Usually I'll put on trousers, but trousers, yes sir. Drop trouser if you
Welshman, can I comment on your perspective of firearms in America?
Yeah.
Last
I may?
Yeah, cool.
Well,
yeah.
A lot of what's going on is over the years, a lot of people carry guns, but now it's a political bunch of nonsense. And it has I got a little more perspective than most of you guys, except for Cypher, but he'll agree with me.
No,
that
maybe I'll listen.
The gun culture has been politicized. So me being a guy who's very much like Cypher, who has been kind enough to expose his human frailties, I don't have a gun. I have the opposite opinion because I don't want to be a reactionary. I don't want to be a nutcase that is consumed by fear. And believe me, I have fear every day. Are you
calling Cypher this a nutcase and a reactionary?
No, I'm not saying he's a nutcase at all.
I know
not at all. I'm just saying that I'm giving a Welshman a perspective of an American who lives in the same state as Cypher, who has a different opinion. And we share a lot. Gainesville, right? We were there.
I was there.
We're not different. Yeah. We're not different people, buddy. We could be good friends.
Yeah. But you guys are one and the same.
Yeah, maybe. You think?
We're both balcony buzzards. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what I'm saying is, Welshman, is from my perspective, the gun thing has been politicized. When I was a little kid, I was shooting guns out on the out in the same place that people used to dump garbage on the western part of the city. So what it comes down to is the gun thing today is just like
who's politicized?
Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid, and they don't have to be. Because guess what? The biggest chance you're going to have coming in touch with somebody that has a gun is in your car, and that's a $5,000 or a $4,000 weapon, or a 4,000-pound weapon. Forgive me. Yeah. So, for the most part, either that or you run like a bitch. You know what I mean?
Do you mind me asking that question? Whether you have a gun or not, or
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay. So you mentioned reactionary. Say someone's robbing your house, and they're in your house. And then,
I've got a bunch of hammers. I've got a bunch of hammers.
It's no good against the
hammer time.
You gotta have some nails too.
To that.
Oh,
no,
hammer time.
No, I don't need nails when I have a hammer.
You gonna crucify them? Stand still. I'm gonna crucify you.
What happens to your wife or your kids are in the house and you're at work, and then someone's bashing your back door in with a gun? What happens then? Because I've seen a
Wait,
case
they're
not long
bashing
ago.
the door in with a gun or with a bat?
Well, don't be silly, Steve. You know what I mean. I
Well,
seen a
you
case.
said
They have a gun and they're
Come on,
bashing in the
don't take
door.
me literally.
Well-
don't take me literally. I seen a case recently where there was a pregnant woman.
I got to say
and she
one
was on-
thing.
she
I
was on
can respond to
999.
that.
She was on 999, and they come in through a door. She
I'll
shot
stop.
one in the chest and one in the back, right? And she killed the both of them, right?
Sure.
And
Well, first of all,
she was
they're not.
pregnant, and she had one baby in the room, and she was pregnant at the time. Husband had just died. Her husband had died
Is
like a
that
week
So
the
before.
sorry to
one?
hear that.
Is that the one that?
But that has
with
no
the
relevance
911
to
call
your
that's
to your
audible?
mention.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
999.
And what it comes.
Wow.
All right. So
Well, I'm
what it
just trying
comes
to make
down
that
to is,
conversation.
all right, Welshman. Are we
Yeah.
going to stay on topic?
Yeah, we're going to stay on topic. I'd like you to answer that. What about if your wife was in the house?
All
and
right.
your child
So
was
in
in the
my,
house?
first of all, the scenario related would never happen with me because I have one front door. Nobody's getting in that front door.
Oh, right.
And if they do, they will be met with massive hammers and
Oh,
swords from everywhere.
good luck.
And guess what?
It's like Indiana
The last
Jones.
time I
isn't it?
called,
Going medieval
I-
on them.
no, I got to tell you this. The last time I called 911, I heard the sirens before I got off the call. So I have my fallback. I call the cops.
Well, you live on the
And I
Gold
hold
Coast.
my ground.
You know what they say? When seconds count, cops are minutes away.
Yeah. Yeah, they react
30
to crime.
seconds.
Yeah,
They-
there's
shit, you know,
maybe it's like
ground to
here-
all this debate. You know, that's definitely.
Steve,
I was 30
Steve,
minutes
Steve.
into a 911 call, and I heard the sirens even before I got off the call.
It takes you
my
30
brother's
minutes to call
saying is
911?
He's got a panic room.
30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Steve, you remember that thing that incident I've just described where she defended her family? What do you think about that then, Steve? Because you obviously listened to the 999 call as well.
Yeah, it was totally justified. Basically, she said, okay, and she put the phone down and wasted him because she had no other choice.
She said, "What shall I do if they come in my house?" And the operator said, "Do what you need to do."
Right.
She
The
went,
operator has to be careful not to say shoot them because
Yeah.
she would be
that's
liable. But she said,
Right.
do what you have to do to protect your family.
Right.
But,
Wait,
and the woman, literally,
I-
the woman just fucking blew him away, man.
yeah, she's a hero.
Yeah.
Oh,
Welshman,
yes.
I need
Strong
to
woman
finish
there.
my
Strong
conversation with
woman.
you.
All right, go
You
ahead.
ready?
Zach or
Thank
Mac,
you, buddy.
whatever your name is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So Welshman,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend or extend my beliefs about weapons on other people. They want to have guns. I'm all for it. It's my personal decision because I'm a lunatic. So I don't want one around. So those other people are more responsible than me. So forth. Whatever. They're, to me, second, I'm a constitutional guy. Whatever they want to do, they can do. You understand
Really?
that?
You're a constitutionalist? Cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you could believe in.
Well, maybe
the
not an
Second Amendment.
originalist, but a constitutionalist.
No,
Which is good.
I
It's good. I'm
I
not
am an
exactly-
originalist
You are?
because I see all kinds of violations that are happening right now.
Yeah. Capricious, what do they call that? From the bench? It's called something.
Cypher, the most important thing is that the three branches of government maintain their independence. It is of the utmost importance.
Vital.
Aphid's being an arsonist.
Oh, is he setting up the bomb? He's setting up the bomb. Oh, man.
Bonfire.
Bravo.
This is going to be worth it.
Bravo.
He's got the fucking giant log there. All right. So, oh man, watch yourself here, people.
I hope
see a
it's not a
lighter.
new fire. We don't have
Okay.
a fire in Illinois that spreads across to the East Coast and burns down New York.
It's just a
Good
it's just a campfire. It's not a bomb. All
No,
right.
I think he's.
All right,
It's
you're
on a
right.
very-
Everything's too.
it's
Yes,
very-
he
very
uses that card.
controlled. It's in the middle
Right.
of a concrete patch.
Yeah, he doesn't recycle cardboard. He
Everything's
uses it to start
everything's too
fires.
wet anyway.
That's
They'll
a
never spread east.
huge
They're
log.
flooding
Listen,
out.
Excuse
McGrand,
me.
he's on the other side of the Mississippi River. I think that will stop any fires, no
That's
matter
a
how
good
big they
thing.
are.
That's a good thing. But be careful. The wind may come from the east.
From the west.
A foul wind blows from the east.
Well, if it comes from the east, it's not going to be a threat to you.
Right.
Hey,
He's
Matrix
going to
4
have
is
to bring
not
out
for
the
me.
blowtorch next.
I'm fine.
He's not getting that
I
lit, is he?
cannot believe in this hurricane season that I haven't spared. I have seen
I know.
massive
Well,
hurricanes.
so far we've still
Same
got.
with you, Cypher.
Well,
Yeah,
you're not-
long
We are
way to
so
go.
I was
lucky.
going to say, not over with. Isn't there another one coming?
I
There's
know
one.
it's not, but
Oh, it's
we
going.
haven't spared, man.
Yeah.
We're dodging the bullet again.
I hope
Larry?
so.
Is that what it's called? Hurricane Larry?
Yeah, that it's not going to be a threat.
Oh, okay.
Hurricane Larry's a joke. It's going to develop out in the middle of the
It should
Atlantic.
be. It's a joke. It should be Hurricane Larry David then.
Well, Larry was a strong
Well,
character in Three's Company. He was the upstairs neighbor, that
Yeah.
lecherous.
Sammy Cat.
Hey, wow, it's Sammy Cat. Holy smokes. What
Oh. Hey, Sammy Cat. Good to see you. Or in the chat.
She's one of, she's coming over tomorrow amongst other people, so I actually have to be there in person. So.
Oh, the track of Larry doesn't take it close to anybody's land.
Yeah, Larry's a whack job. He's way out at sea.
That fire's getting bigger.
Oh, cute.
Biscuits. Just a quick one. I'll throw it out there. The old Kung Flu. I thought, been on it for a while now. I seen the government advisors giving out the latest hospitalities in hospital at the moment on the Delta virus. I believe last week it was 34.9% with double jibbed.
Double jib jabs.
No,
This week-
it's
This
80%
week
a double
it's
jab.
60%.
It's 80% of people are double jab now.
60% yesterday. So unless you got more than I've heard from
I'm gonna
yesterday.
get memes going about jib jabs.
The latest on government website was 79.8%.
You're talking about different things. He's talking about the percentage of people hospitalized who've had
Oh,
a
right,
double.
okay. Yeah, but that's to be expected when all of the
Anticipated.
elderly are double jabbed.
Right. Yeah. So it's expected that the jab or
When
the vaccine.
almost everybody over 60 is double jabbed, so most of them are going to be double jabbed, aren't they?
I heard what they're talking about at the moment. Is a weak immune system's the favourite, isn't it, at the moment?
It's weird. My health maintenance organization, put out an email to the what they call a bulk email to all of the HMO people, and because I had the Johnson & Johnson, I'm sort of in this odd category. They're not providing any guidance for me yet, but the people that had the double jabs, they're talking about the booster coming.
I'm feeling a bit shafted up the arse because AstraZeneca's getting a right raw deal. They're saying that it's not safe now.
Well, I've said that all the time.
So what are you telling me? AstraZeneca's not safe, and they're totally ignoring J&J between you two guys?
Yeah, sounds about right.
That sucks.
Well, many countries have banned it, haven't they? The AstraZeneca.
20.
Ooh, shit.
It's all right. It's safe, lads. I keep saying this.
I think I
I
told
gotta
you guys.
tell you guys.
Go ahead.
I thank you. I read some disturbing news today about the mutations of this particular virus that humanity has never known before. And
today, oh boy.
No, it
made the grade.
Anyway, and get feedback.
That was in two.
So I
That was a good job.
don't know if you want to hear this or not.
Yeah.
We're just side chatting here.
So basically, what we're looking at is there's like all you have to do is just Google it. It's out there. You can see the
MU, right?
that no, the scientific perspective on the mutations, and it's all theorems, but a lot of them point towards what we already suspect, and that is that we're basically fucked. And what that comes down to is that the mutations will continue to advance above and beyond the vaccinations.
Right.
Bang, bang, bang.
And
you've got out-of-date vaccinations.
It's a startling realization for most people to have any concept of free thinking. But maybe we should not believe in the benefits of the vaccines. I personally do.
You scare me.
Well,
the
I don't want to scare you at all. I'm just trying to be realistic.
With the Delta virus.
God damn it! This is the problem with most people. They don't want to accept the data, the raw data, and think about it. I'm not making any claims or coming to any conclusions.
Don't turf it.
I am basically presenting it to you to absorb it and think about it.
What are we going to do?
Well, what it comes down to is the fact that they know it will mutate again, and there's been other mutations that were actually stronger against vaccinations, but they weren't that viral, and they wouldn't spread as quickly. But the Delta variant is the opposite. So they're thinking that there's going to be a combination of all the variants that's going to be as virulent and as resistant. So that's what's going to come next.
And what caused it is the leaky vaccine.
Exactly.
So we're under Captain Trips territory.
It's the leaky vaccine that's causing the problems. Should have gone for
going into reality, Cypher.
Now, the thing that I think is that I do believe that the vaccine knocks it down and does have a significant effect against it as slowing it down. It might not be the total.
We're fully free, and our R rate is between 0.9 and 1.1.
It's not now. It's gone down now. It's
has it gone down even further now?
Yeah, it's 0.4.
Yes, that's another thing. The hills and valleys of the infections. They can't explain it. Nobody can come up with a reason why you have these spikes and then you have these rapid declines. Nobody can understand it. Here's what it comes down to. This shit is going to be around forever. Protect yourself. Be smart. It's not going away.
Parallel to the stand, Captain Trips.
Ivermectin.
Stephen King,
Here we go, Ivermectin. Here we go. Fucking Joe Rogan.
Is that the cow?
Let's go, Joe Rogan. What do you think, people?
I ordered mine 3 days ago.
I hope Joe Rogan gets better. That's what I think.
So Joe Rogan,
you'd rather put your faith in an animal drug.
Joe Rogan got COVID. Okay, let me just do a short synopsis here. Joe Rogan got COVID, and a man who has preached that younger adults who maybe are under the age of 40 should not get vaccines. It's not necessary or whatever he was saying. And then he goes ahead and gets COVID and takes an experimental drug used to remove worms from horses.
He's taken multiple.
Wait there. Let me just give some truth. Ivermectin has been available for 60 years. It's had 60 billion doses. Right? It's not experimental.
It's a deworming drug for animals.
It's an anti-parasitic,
right? And another thing, Biscuit, when you turn around and say it's for animals, that's like saying ketamine's for animals, right? Yeah. If you ever watch an ER program and any car accident at all, they give an option of using morphine or ketamine.
I'll take the morphine.
That's just retarded. Because it's not your choice. It's not your choice.
I've seen what ketamine does to people, and it fucks you up.
I always like my joke about calling Joe Rogan Joe Bogan.
I mean, they're medicines. They work on biological principles. Horses are mammals, and so
it's all about the money, lads. Wake up! It's all about the money. It costs nothing to make ivermectin, nothing at all to make it. It's a generic drug, past its patency, and there's plenty of drugs out there that are useful against COVID. Yet they don't want to push them because they don't make any money off them.
I mean, I've seen the studies. There's some limited but encouraging small-scale studies that suggest that ivermectin may have antiviral properties, and maybe it'll help with COVID. I mean,
Stop using Google, everyone. That's what you got to do.
I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, good man.
Because you won't. Google will block some of the.
I mean, like Steve saying it's experimental, but it's been available for 60 years, and it's like 60 billion doses. I mean, the reason why
it's experimental for this particular
well, you
treatment.
You said it was experimental medicine, right? Right now, the
for
reality
this particular treatment.
For this treatment, yeah, we didn't say that, but let's get another thing, right? We've got Africa, we've got Asia, right? They've got zero healthcare. No one's dropping down dead in these countries. No one is.
Oh, yes, they are.
Well,
that is a blanket statement, and it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So we had propaganda in the UK about 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago, where it was India variant, Delta variant eventually, right? And people were dropping in the streets. We haven't heard fuck all from India for 10 weeks.
That's because they're all dead.
Oh yeah. So
everybody.
That's just what you've done. You've made a blanket statement that makes no sense.
No, but okay. So you look. We had it. We had it 24/7.
We're taking the piss out of you, Blaze Tosh, man.
Well, the reality is, India isn't fucked, right?
You make a lot of good points.
They sold you a pup.
We're taking the piss out of you on this.
They sold us all a pup, like they sold it all when all the Chinese people were falling flat for.
Oh, I know what I wanted to see.
Fucking actors. That was all fucking set up. That was all set up to make the world petrified. And it made me petrified at the time. Because I was watching those clips on fucking social media for months. And then when it happened on mainstream media, I thought it must be true. But it's all a fucking setup because I didn't see anyone falling down anywhere else in the world like that and being dead. Nowhere.
Well,
here's a great statement. No. Let me just quickly read from Fading Roots. There is no COVID-19 at all in Africa. So,
yeah, what's with that?
It's because they take ivermectin because it's an antiviral malaria drug. Same in India.
Yeah,
they stopped taking it in India, and that's why it blew up.
But wouldn't you think there actually is quite a bit of COVID-19 in Africa? I would say there's probably tens of millions of cases.
They got the AIDS bugaboo over there for sure.
They was doing mass grave burials only like what 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes, they were. There was the same footage they repeated throughout the world.
Just like your dogs in the friggin' airport over there. Yeah, little stock footage thing, Base Welshman. Fucking dogs.
What's that?
Come on. Yeah, I got your ass.
They sold a gas accident as people collapsing in the streets in India, right? And it was footage taken like 10 years previous where some industrial factory let off a load of gas, killed loads of fucking people, and people collapsed on the street. They showed that footage and it went around the world as COVID.
That's terrible.
I will tell you what Reuters is reporting, and you can. Well, you can dismiss it. I'm not telling you what you have to believe it, but I'll just tell you what they're reporting. They're reporting 7.9 million infections in Africa and 198,000 deaths reported.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of outdoor time there in that country. A lot of people are out of doors. I don't know.
Reporting will differ based on country too.
Google who owns Reuters and all these companies. You'll find it's the same people who own them.
Oh, I'm not telling you to trust them.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm going to go with you. It just so happens that all these companies are owned by certain top 5-6 people.
I don't completely trust their numbers either. I really.
That he had massive shares in.
I mean, Ted Turner owns a good share of certain levels of the news here in this country, right?
What was that drug that Trump was on about when he got COVID?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah,
but he's got like massive shares in it, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, he's got a share. It's not huge.
I'm sure he puts shares in everything, but once again, hydroxychloroquine is another generic drug. That's why they're not promoting it.
But does it work?
It costs tuppence to make. Yes, it does work. It does work, mate.
For the record, I don't believe that's why they're not. recommending it. Although I do agree that
£15 an injection they get in the UK. You don't think it's to do with money?
Well, I certainly agree that there are financial incentives to push more expensive drugs, but I don't believe that public health authorities, unless they're getting bribed, are going to use that as a criterion.
I wonder whatever happened to the study of nicotine, reducing the effects of COVID.
Why would you suspect it has any effect one way or the other?
Because France was doing a study because they found that very few vapors and smokers was actually getting the COVID-19.
All right. I mean, Joe Rogan. I mean, do you think he's quite critical thinking and questions quite a lot of things? There's a lot of research. He's quite sort of up on a lot of sort of stuff. Yeah. Would you suggest? I would suggest. Well, he's very good at interviewing. He's very good at critical thinking. He has
my pleasure.
He has millions tune into his show every week. So I would suggest he's most probably quite a good person that criticizes things and does some critical thinking. And everyone's playing it down like, oh yeah, but it's been known all the way through ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. People have been saying it from day one near enough.
That's crazy.
It's the complexity of what's happening on a sociocultural / science / medical level is just mind-boggling. It really is. I can't cipher it.
Yeah, but
it's all fucked.
If not you, then nobody.
I can't cipher that.
It's a bit like Viagra was not designed to give you an erection. It was designed to help with angina attacks.
Lies. That's a lie.
It was something to do with blood pressure control, I think.
It was angina.
Might be.
Yeah,
angina for the vagina. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wait, that's wrong.
So drugs do things sometimes that they're not meant to do.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. And people never expected it either.
No, that's right.
Except those lucky buggers that got the angina drug.
They were saying, what was your side effect? You're like, fuck the missus all right.
Yep.
Superstar boner. Right. Might be on something here.
Things are looking up for me.
That's right.
Standing tall.
Mr. Happy in the trousers.
Exactly.
It's not an animal drug. It is used to treat animals, like it's used to treat humans. Like ketamine is used to get high. It's used on horse tranquilizers. It's used.
I'll just say it this much: people and horses are very similar. So one drug that works with them might work very well.
Well, I give my dog antihistamines because he gets little spots on his lips, and that solves that problem out.
Do you estimate the amount based, Welshman?
Yeah. Give him half.
I've done that one time with my cat, one of my cats, and he's like, the cat didn't have a bad reaction, but I didn't feel like I could really judge it properly because I'm roughly 25 times the size of my cat. And if you're trying to break a little antihistamine tablet into a 1/25 of the dose, it's pretty hard.
I've heard of horror stories where people have given their animals, paracetamols and killed them and stuff. I looked it all up, and antihistamines are quite harmful. Like that, you can't really OD on antihistamines. And then with his body weight and all that, I give him literally half. And an adult, you're supposed to have 2 of these ones.
Yeah. Aphid Lip is going full druid on us there.
Yeah, he's totally
got the fire. He's doing the incantation.
Is it dark,
I've found the edge of my internet access, and I'm trying to exploit it the best way I possibly can.
See that? You've gone primitive on us. Got the primitive fire. Got to look out for the
I
saber-tooth tiger.
I have a tiki torch right in front of me, which it seems like it's bright enough to light me, but
It's
it doesn't light me at all.
No, it's not.
Can't see anything, dude. It's like
No.
black.
No. See, like I'm raising my hands right now.
Yeah, you can
Like,
see
how
the
far
hand.
are you from the camera?
Let me see if I get closer.
Yeah, if
There,
you're
so
on
better.
weird. I mean, not.
Oh, there
really.
you are. Ah!
Right.
There he is. You're
Hi, guys.
inches.
What's going on?
Now that is creepy.
What do you
It's a
have?
trap.
Just a fire out in the yard, and you're just standing by it?
Well, I have a big fire pit that I built here because we have so many trees that when you have so many trees like this in your mature trees in your backyard, you need some way of disposing of the droppage that comes from those trees. So I built a huge fire pit here because I like burning shit too. So yeah.
So
So
you'll
I got
just
a big fire pit that I burn all my shit, and that's huh?
You'll stand there tonight. You'll smoke various cigarettes and things,
Right,
beers,
right,
watch a fire.
right. Well, there's been so many.
Investigation, and apparently this was one of the first in trials for helping people recover.
I can't see what it is. Can you say what it is?
Oh, COVID.
It's budesonide.
Never heard of it.
It was one of the first to be trialed in the UK to recover from COVID.
It's probably called something else here, anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's about that time for me.
Investigate what it's called in America.
I'm going to go. There's great talking and hanging out and listening.
Hey, it's great talking to you, Cypher. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise, everybody. Sidebar trolls. See you guys later.
Yeah.
See you, Cypher.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. See you.
Later,
Thanks
bro.
for hosting, Steve, as always.
That's right.
Yep.
Anytime. Later. Right on.
Oh.
So we're chopping it down here. What do you guys think? Roll on or call it?
Hold on.
What?
He said, "Hold on," and then he departed. So you take. I don't know what that means.
It was roll on or call it. He said, "Hold on." So,
have you guys heard of a asthma inhaler called Pulmicort?
No.
No.
Pulmicort?
Pulmicort. Pulmicort.
No. There's like again, it's probably called something else here too.
That's what it's called in America.
Oh,
Pulmicort.
okay.
No,
they call it budesonide formoterol or Symbicort here.
Symbicort.
Symbicort I've heard of.
Yeah, I might have heard that one.
That's an inhaler.
Yeah. This is my steroid and reliever all in one.
Huh?
For asthma.
Yeah, here we call it Symbicort, not Pulmicort.
Oh yeah. That's what this is. This is Symbicort.
Yeah, same for us.
That's
a steroid.
Yeah, I think that's like a next level drug, I think. It's not the first one
What
they
I
give
use
you.
instead of a normal Ventolin inhaler.
Yeah, they're right. They usually try something else first, and then Symbicort is like another later step.
Gotcha.
I basically take this like 5 times a day.
Does it mess with your head or anything?
No. Just opens my airways up and keeps them open.
Got you. All right. Well, we're getting up on 9 o'clock here, guys.
Dude, you leaving? Man, what? I thought this party was just getting started. Am I wrong?
You didn't get here for an hour, so
you're up. You're breaking up. Your sound is horrendous. What do you got, Ethan? We can't see you.
Trying to
Can you hear me now?
Fire up.
Barely. What kind of? Where's the fucking P95 microphone? The HD camera?
That's inside his office.
I think he's pushing the limits of his Wi-Fi. Is what's happening.
He's got like a candle out there in the wind.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
All
not.
right, give me 2. Don't say goodbye yet. Give me 2 seconds.
2 seconds. But he's cool. He can. I mean, I'm not going to leave. I'm not running out of here, for Christ's sake.
Doorbell ditch on aphid lip.
Yeah, really. It's fine. Poor guy. He's running inside here to get to the. He's probably like kick flipping over the sofa to get into his basement. Well, look at that thing. What are you drinking, dude? Jesus.
Iron brew.
Iron brew? What the hell is that? It's orange. That ain't no orange juice.
Orange flavor. It's iron brew flavor.
Eek.
It's the national drink of Scotland.
I hope there's no caffeine in it at this hour.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
Eek. Damn, dude, you're crazy.
Guess,
32 milligrams per 100 mil or something like that.
Damn.
that's
Yeah,
a little too much for nighttime.
That's
I'll
like
fall asleep. I've got a very high caffeine tolerance.
no kidding, huh? Yeah, I couldn't touch that stuff at night. I'd be up
I
for
used to take like full boxes of Pro Plus, like caffeine tablets, and then like fall asleep an hour later.
Huh. Interesting.
I've reduced my caffeine intake I have in the morning just to sleep better at night. So you are crazy, man.
Yeah,
I'll
I do
probably
love
have a couple of these and maybe some coffee as well.
that tea is almost half as strong as coffee, I would say.
Oh, really? That's pretty strong.
Yeah, I do about 30 ounces of coffee before 11 o'clock every day, and that's it for me.
Wow. I used to drink that much, and now I drink. If I drink a lot, it's 8 ounces. If I'm drinking a little, it's 4 ounces that I'll drink in the
I
morning.
think I messed myself up by drinking like 12 cans of Monster every day for about 4 years.
Oh my god!
Well, my coffee intake ends between 10 and 11 a.m., so it's just a high volume in a short period of time.
When I was working, I would just drink coffee all day long. I have God only knows how much coffee I consumed. It was just if the cup was empty, I was like a chain drinker. As soon as the cup was empty, I'd go and fill it up.
Now, I bring a certain amount of iced coffee to work every day. Never hot. Never drink hot coffee. Hate hot coffee.
Really?
And then once my big giant ice that I make at home every day is empty, that's it. On spring water. And then
I like coffee that much. I've got this so I can just make it.
That is horrendous, dude.
Well, you don't. This is just powdered whitener.
I
not
just
coffee itself.
drink it black. That is nasty.
No, this makes it super creamy. I put like 4 teaspoons of this in.
If I'm going to live it up, I'll add a little bit of actual cream to it or even just almond milk or something. But that powdered stuff is...
I've been drinking it black since I was a vegan, so I'm talking 30 years now.
You like it black. All right,
like
cool. Let's bring back aphid lip on that.
Cheers, guys.
Aphid lip, there's some guy outside your house pretending to be you. You might want to call the police. He's making fires, too, so he's pretty dangerous.
Is he half as sexy as I am?
Yeah, he's exactly half.
Poor guy. We'll let him go.
Yeah. He'll get caught in the webbing, though. The dogs will get him. Never mind.
You made it in, huh?
Switching over was a lot more difficult than I thought.
Oh, man. What great sound, though. Fabulous.
He's back in his studio.
Yeah.
This is the Aphid Lips. Actually, the Aphid Lip studios are at my office. I used to use the green screen and have the whole setup. Those were the days.
This is better. This is better.
Green screen.
So what was your main? Did you have a nice, solid, juicy point you wanted to get to?
Who, me?
Yeah.
That we waited all this time for?
No, I just wanted to give a proper goodbye without being garbled and
that's
low on bandwidth. But yeah, I found the actual edge of my property was pretty much where I was at because you were kind of in and then you're kind of out. So I went right in the middle of that area. And, it worked for a little while, but the lighting down there, like that fire really got going. Like that fire's going to be going all night. But it don't show up on cam. You know,
and not at all.
That's a lot of wood you got there.
I mean,
that was that tree, that half of that tree that fell down. I finally cut it up last weekend. I was like, I've let it sit there long enough. It's been like a month and a half, 2 months. I can't make up any more excuses. I got to chop it up. And
the funny thing is, in the room you're in now, you don't have a ton of light, but yet we see you clear and crisp.
Well, right here hanging in front of me, I have a fluorescent light that hangs down just to illuminate the front half of my body for you and your viewers, Smokesteve.
Well, we appreciate it. We got to get a good look at the stars here.
I've got an LED myself.
A bright light down there to illuminate me.
Ooh,
yeah.
Look at you.
You need the proper face lighting, and back here I have LEDs. I can control the lightness and darkness. Right.
You have to have something.
And I have like one of those like shop lights that hangs because I got because on my skateboards I can readjust and put the light wherever I want to go with it. So I have like a drop light like that you'd have out in your garage that lights my beautiful face.
I don't have shop lights. I have,
You haven't accumulated as much junk as I have, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have LEDs and stuff strategically placed around the house.
Well, I really like what you've done with the place, Smokesteve. I think that the shelves of miscellaneous, no other place to store them items behind you really comes off well.
Right back there.
Yeah.
That mask has been there for like 2 years.
It has. Obviously, that one hasn't been used.
High quality mask, though.
I just changed out my mask today because I realized it was getting pretty dirty around the edges. And I was like, it really reminds me every time I put it on of how dirty of a human being I am. So it was bumming me out. That was really the only reason why. It wasn't for safety reasons. I just wanted to change it because it was bumming me out.
Right around the nose bridge area.
Right. Just the whole outside. Just any part that touched my face was completely filthy dirty. If it didn't touch my face, it was like brand new still. But anything that touched my face was completely dirty and disgusting.
That's because that's where the air is sneaking underneath.
Or that's what touched my body and got rubbed off whatever oils and dirt that was all over my body. That's just a small taste of what's on the rest of my body. Just a complete train wreck.
Smudge fest.
It's an uncomfortable silence. Is this the part where you realize that you should probably say goodnight to all of us and wish us
I'm probably gonna I'm basically out of gas personally, so I'm gonna say good night.
Well, I wish I could have participated more, but I was compromised with deep thoughts and lighting issues and sound issues.
Not a problem at all.
I'll prioritize which of those was most likely myself. I won't make any comments beyond that. All right, good night, and thanks again, Steve, for having us.
Last
on.
dance,
everyone.
Last dance. If you wanted me, I've just put it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could, mate. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Cheers, have a good time, mate.
Night.
Based Welshman.
Nice one.
Always bringing the info.
Try it.
Well, he's still on.
Well, I got to copy the link first before it goes away when I leave the studio. Right. There we go. I got it.
Well, it's not a. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Look, we all got bigger. Okay. Here we go. Wow.
It's awesome. It's like a whole new show. Look at that. I got one of those.
Is that Sega Genesis?
No, it's a
keyboard and mouse trackpad.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get mine. It's right here.
Cool. Let's play Radgar. What was the other one with that little fucker who ran like 1,000 miles an hour?
Holy crap, it's almost exactly the same.
Yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's do it. Oh, God.
Busted.
You stunned. Oh, you didn't.
There we go. Where's the camera?
I think yours is probably a bit better quality than mine. Mine were about £4 off Amazon.
Yeah, it wasn't. This was like 12 at Micro Center. So
what does that hook up to?
This?
It's just
both of them. They're Bluetooth.
A dongle.
So you could use them to control many devices, but mine controls my. Actually, that's It looks like it's some. I didn't change it, but for some strange reason, it's your show, Smokesteve, playing.
I don't know. I don't understand. You guys, is that thing like a remote control? You guys have to explain further. I'm clear.
Yeah, it's basically a.
Is the
I'm
mouse
saying.
trackpad. That is a keyboard.
Yeah.
That's the volume up and down, and forward and backward media, play button, and stop
And you can
button.
match that
And
onto
then
any
that's
device.
move about on in a web page.
Right. Yeah, it's basically the coolest remote you could ever have. It's got.
So you could put it on your mobile phone and use it like a keypad.
Yeah, you can through Bluetooth. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, isn't it a little useless? Can't you?
Oh no, it's the far. Actually, Smokesteve, it's the farthest thing from useless. To be honest, it's ironic.
It's useful.
Oh, extremely.
Because my telly's on my wall in my living room. I want to sit away from my PC, so I just have that in my hand.
Can you see the screen above me, Smokesteve?
Yes.
See, this goes to my home screen.
Okay, yeah.
There's my home screen of this device, that's playing. And I can use the center like a mouse. And it's got every key imaginable. The whole keyboard spectrum is on here. So I can go on Google or post a tweet or do whatever I want, from this big screen TV that's behind me.
What's the difference of just opening up Twitter on your laptop and using the keyboard to post a tweet?
Well, because but you can have it in your hand.
Yeah, and it's a physical thing that will work with just about any device.
The lights on the thing as well.
I mean, for the simpletons, that's cool, Gets the lights going.
I mean, yeah.
Well, basically, Smokesteve, if you don't have a basement that looks like mine, you wouldn't appreciate it, something like this.
No, I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You wouldn't look at this and be like, wow, look at all those buttons I can press and make do something.
I have a laptop and a phone. That's it, homeboy.
But to me and Biscuit, we realize each one of those buttons does something different, so we can push them and make stuff happen.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, that's cool for you guys, and I'm glad you like it.
Hey Fidge, you're going to have to...
So I can, use YouTube, Netflix, and everything from my sofa without having to have a big bulky mouse pad and a keyboard.
Just last week, I got, sorry to just throw a quick interjection here, I finally upped and went and got YouTube Premium.
Me too. I got that ages ago.
Do you guys think it's worth it?
Hell yeah, it's amazing.
Really?
It's worth it for the ads, but there's not really any content that you get with it.
Right. You don't get content, but the lack of ads, and I really like the YouTube music because you can have
that too.
You have a million playlists. You can sync it up with a big Bluetooth speaker. And
right.
It's way better than Spotify. It really picks up the music you like. Yeah, it kicks ass.
How much does it cost a month?
$14.99.
Ooh, that's steep, man. That's steep.
50 cents a day?
Yeah, I know, but when you look,
it's $9.99 a year, I think.
But when you think of all the other, I have Disney Plus, I have cable, which is like over $100.
We canceled cable.
Not cable, Dish, or yeah.
We canceled all that shit. We got YouTube TV for the main room, and I got YouTube. Whatever it's called, Premium, I think, for myself.
Right.
I've got YouTube Premium, Disney Plus, Netflix, and Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that stuff adds up, man.
But you don't.
And when you add on another $14, you're like, damn.
I've got the big package for multiple screens with Netflix.
When it comes down to oh man, I gave up that leather interior on that vehicle I bought for $14 a month. Then it's hard to be like.
I hate leather.
I do keep saying to myself, which one of these could I give up for an extra?
Right, exactly. That YouTube.
But then I'm like,
YouTube sounds like it might be one of them.
No. Because see, for me, I don't watch TV. So this is
I'm not saying my
for
idea
me and with our family, I don't watch it, dude, unless I'm watching old Seinfeld episodes or the Andy Griffith Show, I don't
Right.
watch TV. And those
Right.
are my like only two shows. So
Yeah.
I'm on YouTube 20, 30 hours a week. So
Right.
I mean, why not?
I'm on YouTube possibly. How many hours in a week?
Does it like you can't like get on the show somehow with YouTube Plus? Can you? Like, does it make that any better in any way?
No.
Yeah. So the people that you watch, that you're subscribed to, when you click on their link, it doesn't play like 10 seconds of commercials and then like a minute, 2 minutes later, play another,
No, and I watch a lot of these like long like music analyzing and music instruction videos where they would normally show a fucking commercial every 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So the YouTube Premium for me to watch like a 20 or 30 minute video, and also I really like some hunting channels that have really long videos.
Hunting? Did you
say? Yes.
You should tell Hayden about them.
I would love to. I want to get a hunting guy on to have Hayden interview him, but I think like Hayden would just lose it.
No, I mean Hayden's pretty good. Hayden is actually really controlled. Like when it comes to interviewing somebody he disagrees with, he appreciates the fact that they came on and he's interviewing them. Where I'm more like I want to corner him and make him look like a piece of shit. Hayden's got a lot more control over an interview than I do in that aspect.
Have you noticed the YouTube adverts give you the same adverts every day? It's like the
no, because I ain't had YouTube adverts for what 9 months now.
What about you, Aphid?
Yeah, definitely, positively.
It's the same one, isn't it?
You won't have this problem, but here I get this. It's Gain, I think, but it's like Gain. It's a soap detergent, that you put on your sink and. Okay, it's a soap detergent, and it's in Mexican. I live in the middle of the United States, and
for 50 cents a day, you'll never see Gain again, homeboy. That's all I have to tell you.
It's a Mexican Gain commercial.
Same fucking advert, isn't it?
It's the same one. I hear it all the time.
You get that wash one in Spanish. I get a funeral one. Every name of every video is the Welsh guy talking about funeral expenses. I'm thinking,
are there ads at the beginning of this show?
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the deal. All right, you fit into a demographic that it makes it, and I do as well. That it makes it worth that company to spend. Let's say it's a tenth of a penny for the chance that I'm gonna like a Mexican, soap commercial. It makes sense to them financially to do it, or they wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they also get paid just for showing it as advertising. It might be 1/50th of a penny, but if they show 50,000 of them, then they get
Well,
$1,500.
I'm not even monetized, right? Because they demonetized me because they don't like my content. And they then, in process, they put adverts on my channel anyway.
Right.
I'm not monetized because I've got under 1,000 subscribers, so I can't even be monetized.
Right? Yeah, it's hard to get that going.
Well, the way to do it, Biscuit, I'll tell you now, is really simple. It's to go on StreamYard or Streamlabs, do some lives, because when you go on, I think I know you can do it on Streamlabs. If you do lives on Streamlabs, you can go live on YouTube with 0 followers.
Well, I've tried doing Twitch, but I get bored, and I've done like 7 videos, and I get really bored.
You can go on live and you can upload videos, but if nobody sees them, what's the point?
StreamYard, which we're on here, which is great. You can have the free account, and you have this StreamYard duck in the corner.
I've got a free StreamYard account, but I get bored.
One.
I get bored, just doing videos on my own. It's not good.
But see, when LiveLeak was around, you could upload a video of you, like right now. If I didn't have nothing else to do, I'd make a LiveLeak video and I'd upload it, and hundreds of thousands of people would see it, and they'd give me their opinion on what I just did, whether it was just completely brutal and like tore me to shreds, or it was awesome, and I got enjoyment, which hardly ever happened.
I put a review out for an e-cig, and I showed it to a guy at local pub, And he goes, "Oh, you should have changed this, this, and this." I was like, "Fuck it, delete channel."
Well,
It's a waste, wasn't it?
YouTube though, like the interview I did with Graham, I thought was pretty good, but the one there's like 70 people have listened to it, so it's like, why?
I was one of those 70 people.
Well, it was good, me and Graham talking was good.
It's really fucked up YouTube and the way it works. It really is. I mean, I'll give you my mate lost his channel. It got taken off him. Well, they just took his channel away because he went to Keir Starmer's home address and door stopped him. That's the Labour. That's the leader of the Labour Party. His name is On the Spectrum, asking questions. I mean, he's autistic, but he just set up his channel about 3 weeks ago. He's doing lives every day, Extinction Rebellion and protesting in London every day, and he's doing lives. But because he's autistic, he's very clued up on legislation. He's very clued up on climate change and all this. He reads all their memos, their manifestos. He does all that sort of shit. He done a video with the police the other day, and he had 40,000 views in just over 24 hours, and he's only got 2,000 subs. It's an amazing video. It's an amazing. He schools the police officers. They're trying to do a homeless man who's in a wheelchair for having a blade. And he destroys the police officers absolutely, and he saves the guy. They let him go. But
I think I've only got like 34 subscribers, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, what would a cop be thinking to go after somebody like that?
You need to get footage, though. So you need to get footage that you need to get something to grasp people sometimes.
I've got 18 subscribers, even less than I thought.
Smokesteve, I gotta pee, and I'm not coming back. I really appreciate you doing these shows.
Later, buddy.
It's been great.
Take care, fellas.
Nice.
All right, and therein luck comes to the end of the show, gentlemen. I will see you guys next time around.
Nice one,
guys.
All right, later, man. Biscuit, you're the man. Thank you, brother. All right. It was a fine show. Let's see what I got left in me. It's a good one tonight, people. Thank you. All right. It's been a great pub. We'll see you guys next week. Later, Bottle Cap. And Faded Roots. Thirsty Drunk. Piku. You guys have all been great. Thank you for being here for us. Come back next time. Yeah.